Stu motherfucking Beath. I was just talking to Jason,
Yeah,
and he's like, man, Stu looks way different now. And you kind of do.
I do. I think a little bit of the hair.
Your hair's a little bit longer.
There's a lot. There's a lot of and then there's just been a lot of changes with the diet. So like I feel like my
Yeah.
physique's different.
Dude, you're eating all the raw meat.
A lot of raw meat.
What's that like?
Um, it, it's not. It's kind of gross, to be totally honest.
Texture fucks me up. I really like crunchy things.
Yeah. So like
Complete opposite.
I eat like probably 2 to 4 ounces of raw liver every day,
Okay.
and it's very like slimy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't taste great.
Mm-mm.
But it tastes good for me because it like I know what it's doing for my body. So that like mentally, it's like okay, I can stomach this.
Yeah.
I think like the best thing I can think about is like when you did like a science project in like 3rd grade and they give you like the the animal that's like dead that you gotta like dissect or whatever, and it's like disgusting and it smells gross.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that.
Kind of like that. Except you're eating it.
Except you're
not
eating
just
it.
you're not just
Yeah.
dissecting it.
Yeah.
Oh, where do you get it from?
It's this place. I think they're. It's like an hour and a half away. It's called Fed from the Farm.
Okay.
They have a website, and then they deliver to. I do like a farm pickup. It's like 10 minutes from my house.
Nice.
Every Saturday, so I usually place an order every week,
Mm-hmm.
and then I get organ meat, raw milk, steak, all my eggs.
Uh-huh.
I would say 95% of what I eat comes from them.
Really?
Yep.
Where are they at? They're here in Missouri? Or?
It's in Missouri.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where. I've never been there. They do tours.
Yeah, but they're like west from here, I imagine.
Way west.
Yeah.
Way west.
Hour and a half. So that must be like.
It's far.
Is it west or south?
I think it's west.
West,
Mhm.
like near like Columbia.
I honestly have no idea.
That's okay.
I looked it up.
What's it called?
Fed from the farm.
Fed from the farm. Because here's the thing: sourcing is of the utmost importance, right?
So yeah. So you get on there. Check this out. They're obsessed with everything about like everything down to like the soil on their farm, the way they treat their animals. It's pretty cool.
Fed from the farm is Missouri. Oh, they're in Sedalia, Missouri.
Is it fed from the farm, right? Not fed by the farm.
Fed from the farm.
Yeah,
right,
right there. Yep, that first one.
Nutrient rich.
It's. I mean, this is a bold statement, but it's true. Like it's changed my life.
Yeah.
The raw milk, it's the eating.
You look different.
For sure.
Well, you just got back from Florida, so you have a lot
I
of
got a
color.
little
But I
bit of
feel
tan.
like that probably. I think the raw meats probably help too.
Oh, 100%.
Like your skin just looks super healthy.
The skin, my hair, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing my hair out a little bit, but it's like, and I don't know if this is just placebo. They say it like a lot of these guys that I follow that are all about the raw diet and
Yeah.
raw milk and everything. They say it'll do wonders for your skin, hair, and nails.
It makes
I
sense
see
though.
it.
But it makes sense.
Right, and there's nothing else I've done differently. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, and I've never had like long hair like this.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that has something to do with it too. But man,
Yeah.
I swear that the diet is causing my hair to be like, I mean, full.
I believe it.
Like, dude, I got friends. I'm 35 years old. I got friends that are freaking balding and having trouble with gray hair, and I'm like, yo, bro, like my hair's pretty legit. Like,
Dude,
it's
I
like,
feel the same, dude. Yeah, like I just decided probably 4 years ago, I didn't want to cut my hair anymore. I just started growing it out,
for sure.
and it's crazy fucking long. I've never had like nail issues. I've always felt like my nails have been pretty strong. I've always had good skin,
Mm-hmm.
but I've always ate fairly healthy.
It's because of the diet, 100%. Like people.
Yeah,
Invest in, all this money into, hair and skin products. It's like if you shore up your diet, you'll be amazing. Bad skin, bad hair is lack of nutrients.
mm-hmm.
So like the type of food that I'm eating, like I eat the raw liver, 2 to 4 ounces or so every single day. Plus I take a supplement, liver or a desiccated liver pill supplement.
Is it straight liver? Or is it other organs?
So the one I have, I get 3 different kinds. So one is beef organs,
Yeah.
which is like liver, kidney,
Kidney, heart.
I
Do
think
they put spleen in there?
there's spleens in there, and then another one's bone marrow, and then another one is just liver.
Nice.
So I've got 2 different companies.
Are those
that
the
I use.
ancestral eats or?
I used the ancestral for a little bit, and then now I'm using the Heart and Soil.
Okay.
Heart and Soil.
They're in Texas.
I think he's in Texas. This is Paul
Yeah.
Salandino. You've heard of that guy?
Mm-hmm. I think he's on Rogan.
Yeah, he's been on Rogan. He's there's a couple people he's kind of controversial, but his products are great, and I mean, dude, it's making a difference.
Dude, the things that we eat, or just really, anything that we consume truly affects the way we interact with this world.
It's everything, dude.
It's
It's
everything.
everything. Like I'm in the fitness space, and like I have no problem saying like, yo, if you never worked out, like you don't necessarily like sure if you have like goals to be like stronger or whatever, yeah, you got to work out. But like if your goal is just like longevity and like just overall health, it's like do a little bit of walking, you know, and have a perfect diet.
Dude, yeah.
Like shore up your diet.
The-
Nutrition is everything. Mood, how you look, how you feel, what your hair, your skin, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
big.
you think about like the gut brain axis, right?
Mhm.
And then how much of like the body and the gut affects the brain and vice versa. It's
For
not
sure.
just the brain leading the body.
For sure. We need nutrients. And most people, most Americans are not getting the proper nutrients. Like did you look at like fast food places like McDonald's, like there's no nutrients in like a McDonald's burger and
No.
French fries.
No.
You know what I mean? Liver, organ meat, steak, eggs, raw milk. I mean, those are superfoods. Those are
Yeah.
the real.
Those are real
superfoods.
food.
Real food.
Real food.
With
Like I love donuts. I
for
really
sure,
do.
for sure.
Super
Especially strange donuts.
exactly. Super nutrient void though.
For sure.
I mean, you're eating cake in the morning. Dude,
sure.
I was working at I had a contract job at this this place that's actually owned by Pfizer,
Mhm.
and I'm in there, man, and nobody's happy. Everybody looks unhealthy. Just you go into this fucking building. There's no windows. It's shitty ass fluorescent lighting. Everybody's out of shape, and then they're just eating the worst shit all the time. You know, they go straight for the coffee instead of getting water first. They're eating donuts in the morning every fucking morning. I was talking to this one guy. I'm like, hey man, so if you could eat cake every morning, would you? He's like, if it's like a small cake, he's like, I would. I'm like, you would eat cake every fucking morning for breakfast?
You and I are a little bit different. Like I love like the health. I'm addicted to like being healthy and like trying to find what's gonna help me.
Yeah.
Do better. So like hearing that type of thing, it's like, oh man. So my question too is like, is it on purpose? Is it by design that these people that the you know that Americans are being led that way? If you look at our commercials and you look at you know, uh, our water is contaminated with fluoride.
Dude, that's helping your teeth, bro.
Oh God. Dude, I've dug pretty deep into like the fluoride thing, and you know, changing that in my like toothpaste, and then getting rid of. I mean, for the most part, getting rid of like drinking tap water. Has been huge too. I'm sure that has something to do with the hair and the skin as well, and just mood. Like I really wonder what the deal with like our tap water is. You know,
Yeah.
what are they? And is it on purpose? Are they trying? That's going down some serious rabbit holes and
But you always
conspiracy stuff.
But that's the thing, though. Have we just been conditioned to not ask these questions because now all right, it's just a weird conspiracy theory and now I sound crazy and shit. But
for sure.
when you look at a lot of the things that have been done and are being done, it's clearly not in the best interest of like the masses it's not in the best interest of health.
For sure. Why does the FDA villainize raw milk? Like it's almost. I think it might even be illegal to sell raw milk. Like you can't find that in any store.
It's so weird.
It's so healthy. It is so good for you.
Yeah.
Like I will stand by that. Tenfold from personal experience. I give it to my daughter. My daughter has a little bit of raw milk every day, 3.5 years old. Why are they vilifying raw milk? You know what I mean? My other daughter's in daycare, and I have a really good relationship. It's like an in-home daycare. She's an awesome lady, and she shows me like the list of approved things that she can feed the kids: cornflakes, Pop-Tarts, cereals, sugary cereals. She can't feed them like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which I'm not saying that's healthy, but I'm much rather gonna give my daughter a peanut butter and jelly sandwich over a bowl of cornflakes, sugary cornflakes,
Right.
or a Pop-Tart.
100%.
So it's like that's kind of weird. Or why not eggs? Why can't we cook them eggs,
Dude,
or something like that?
eggs are the best.
Yeah. It's weird. That goes down some rabbit holes in the conspiracy theories, but the food situation really, it's alarming. I think.
100%.
I think it's alarming. And dude, you just go through the airport and you look at the our society, especially in America. It's like, oh shit, we are fat, we are lazy, we are out of shape. I know a lot of people I've talked to too, entrepreneurs, business owners right now, having a hard time finding people to work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Nobody wants to work.
Nobody wants to work. A lot of people are making more on unemployment than they would for working. So, you know, it raises questions.
A lot of questions.
For sure.
Sometimes I wonder, is it just as simple as just greed and just money getting in the way, and it's just like, hey man, this is how we can make the most money, and this is what's the most beneficial for our bottom line, and then everything else just follows suit.
I hope so. I hope it's because of profit and money and not something else more sinister.
Yeah.
Like control and
I think that's a part of it
fat,
too.
lazy society that
Yeah. That could be a part of it. That's a long game. Because you look at
it's a real long game. But
it's working.
If you watch it's working, and if you watch some of these videos from these dudes, like even back like in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, I mean, they talk about some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
well, you look whenever they implemented the food pyramid. There's no real science to that.
Right. And look at the food pyramid. It's backwards.
It's trash.
It's awful.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So trash. And the guy who developed that, if I remember correctly, it was the guidelines were put in place for the military, right? And then they just extrapolated that to everybody else. But he wasn't actually putting it together based on what was nutritious. I think it was based on like what was available.
What was available. Yep. And what can you control, like money wise? You know what I mean? Like raw milk. Right now you can get it at like, I mean, there's a website. I think it's realmilk.com, which you can go to, and you can see like every state where you can get access to raw milk.
Okay.
It's very few places. Some states don't have it. You have to go somewhere else to get access to raw milk. I think Missouri has 3 or 4 different places that I've seen online that you can get access to raw milk. So I'm like, why is that so like suppressed?
I wonder if it's because you can't make a lot of money on raw milk.
Right.
I mean, the shelf life is
for sure. It's
so
a week.
It's nothing,
max,
right?
For sure.
So you have to drink it. You can't transport it.
You can't sell it in like mass quantities.
Nope. It has to be local. So how are you supposed to make money off that without getting people sick?
Yeah, bro, this shit tastes good too.
I bet it does because it's what your body fucking needs.
Yeah, dude, I'll do these like brutal workouts, and like like after you work out, like typically what people think like, oh, the last thing I want is like a big glass of milk. Like that just seems awful. Dude, I'll get home from like rolling for an hour or two or doing like this tough workout. I will literally be craving it. Like it's like a mouse going to get the cocaine water. Like I have to go have that.
That makes sense though.
And it's because I'm I've just worked out, sweated, my nutrients are depleted.
Protein and fat.
I need to replenish.
Yeah.
And I'll sit there and I will chug it. And it's like replenishing the nutrients.
That's so interesting how the body will just crave something, and then when you give it to it, it's like, I need like sometimes when I'm really really thirsty, right? Like man, I need some I haven't been drinking water today or whatever. I'll start drinking water, and it's like I can't drink it fast enough.
Yep.
And it's just like my body is just absorbing this thing that it needs immediately.
It's telling you like I need this.
Yes, give it to me.
We can condition our bodies the other way too. You know what I mean? Like if we eat, if you eat a lot of sugar, your body's going to start to crave that. And those unhealthy foods.
Right.
And I'm lucky I've gotten to this point now where I crave like eating raw 2 to 4 ounces of raw beef liver, even though it doesn't taste good.
Man, I'm trying to get like you, dude. I need to eat more raw meat.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But it has to be sourced from somewhere you trust, like a good place. Like you can't go to the local grocery store like Schnucks or Deerberg or something, and grab a pound of ground beef, because like who knows how many. The less hands to touch it, the better.
Because that pound of ground beef is multiple.
You don't
cows.
know where. Yeah,
it's a
lot of stuff that's going. Packed together.
All the scraps,
and
everything
from who knows where. Different farms, so different different grasses, different soils, different things.
That's the thing people don't think about, and I know I'm guilty of that. When we're so far removed from the whole process of what it takes to butcher an animal and take it from it being an animal to our plate. When we go buy it from the store, we're just like, oh yeah, this is just a cow. But no, you don't know how many cows
You don't know what else is in there.
or what else is even in there in
Yeah,
that one package. Just like, okay,
for
maybe
sure.
there's 5 steaks in there,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't know all 5 of those steaks might not have came from the same place.
For
And you
sure.
don't know what that cow is exposed
And
to.
or you don't know what kind of fillers are in there. You know, if it's not like grass fed or something like that, you
Yeah,
don't know
grass
what else
fed,
they
grass finished.
what else they put in there. You know, to fill it up, that's cheaper. So yeah, I you know, I'm not I'm a huge like carnivore meat eater.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of going to like and getting meat from like a source I don't trust,
Right.
or I don't know where it's coming from or what it
Yes.
is.
Dude, sourcing is the most important.
It's
I always say
huge.
that when I'm talking about drugs, but
Yep.
it also
For sure.
applies to fucking food.
100%, dude. Like I go do this farm pickup. Like I said, 95% of my diet. Like I eat a lot of raw carrots. I'll eat fruit, you know, that I get from the grocery store or whatever. But 95% of my diet comes from this place fed by the farm. Pick up every Saturday, and I
Local
literally
pickup,
I
how
have
it
like a good
works.
relationship with the guy. Roy delivers it, you know, and I know there's probably like 10 people that do the pickup at the same place. You know, I see them, I know them now.
Yes.
You say hi to them. It's cool, and I'm gonna take my family out there. I just haven't had time on a Saturday, you know, because it's a little bit further away. But
Yeah.
you can schedule. I could schedule a tour, take my daughters out there, and you could say like, hey, the eggs that we're eating, it's coming from right over there. They do duck eggs too. These duck eggs
Oh,
are
that's cool.
sick, dude.
Yeah.
I have to. So you have to order by Wednesday night. And if I get caught like slipping and it's like Tuesday, I'm like shit. I need to get that order in. The duck eggs always sell out quick.
I bet, dude, duck eggs are so good. They're so
my
big.
God, dude, they're massive. Those yolks, the yolk is
Like orange,
huge,
right?
bro, and it's orange.
Yeah.
It is this amazing color
Yeah, Sedalia, Missouri. That's not too far from Jeff City.
for sure. Hopefully, the listeners don't go bombard and take all the raw milk though.
Man, dude, I'm gonna check this fucking place out. It's
You got to, man.
dude, to be able to find a place where you can get
It's unbelievable.
just ethically sourced, healthy food,
Yep.
man, so vital.
Yeah.
And meat is so. I'm just always baffled why you would want to cut out just a building block of what you are. It'd be like, oh, I'm gonna stop drinking water. You can't do that.
Yeah,
Like you need these.
Yeah, like I was trying to preach that everybody's different, everybody's body operates different. Like there's not one diet fits all, but
Right.
man, like if you just look at the proteins, the fats that are in meat, and particularly organ meat, and the nutrients and all that stuff, it's like, man, this is like a legitimate superfood.
Yeah.
People talk about kale as a superfood. No, organ meat,
Organ meat.
liver.
You can't get anything
There's
more.
nothing more nutritious than that. Nothing.
When you look at how we got to this place, how can it not be a conspiracy theory? You know what I mean? I mean, you look at there was this divergence, right, where we're getting, I don't know, was this probably like the 70s or something, where everybody we're noticing uptick in heart disease. People are getting
Heart
sick.
disease, obesity.
Yeah, I'm sure diabetes, is
cancer.
yeah, people are getting sick, right?
Yep.
But the fingers being pointed at fat, right? Everything's low fat, low fat, low fat. Fucking no sodium. Cut out the sodium. Cut out all these essential nutrients, essentially. And it's like, oh, but sugar's okay, right?
Sodium ain't bad. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I fucking have at least 1,000 to 2,000
Yeah.
milligrams of sodium a day.
For sure. Nothing wrong with
And
sodium. Need it.
100%, dude. And they've done studies with astronauts, right, where they've actually increased their sodium, and the more sodium that they had, the more water that they actually lost, right?
sure.
So the whole idea that if you're gonna have a whole bunch of sodium retaining water, like that's not true. But the whole finger got pointed at fat and sodium, and it was like, oh no, never mind sugar, right? So then we rolled out all these dietary guidelines and affected just the whole food market and just all the information. It's just this whole cascading effect.
For sure.
But that was a conspiracy because the data suggested that obviously sugar isn't the move, but scientists were paid off something like a ridiculously small amount of money, like $5,600
For
or
sure. To
something
say that, oh,
stupid.
hey, that's good for you.
That's good
not
for
good
you.
for you. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the rest is fucking history.
For sure. It's going back to your previous comment, is it about the money or is it something more sinister at play?
Yeah.
And whether that means control or keeping a fat, lazy society is less likely to to try to overthrow,
Right.
or whatever if things go wrong.
Keep the numbers docile.
For sure, for sure. But if you look at these pictures, there's been a couple accounts I follow that I enjoy that post pictures from like the beach like nowadays versus like you were talking about like the 70s and the 80s. It's staggering how thin and healthy people looked. I think who's married to Joe DiMaggio? Was it Marilyn Monroe? Who's that really attractive? She's a blonde.
I don't know if Marilyn Monroe's. You're probably thinking of Marilyn Monroe.
It's married to Joe DiMaggio. Marilyn, I feel like her first name was Marilyn, maybe.
Joe DiMaggio, yeah. It looks like Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Mm-hmm,
okay,
yeah.
So she probably the most beautiful woman of her time.
Yeah, and she was a little bit heavier.
Yeah, but
she's not heavy at all.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, her diet, she would eat raw eggs. Mm-hmm. She would drink raw milk. And she would have liver and onions at dinner. She would have two raw eggs with raw milk in the morning, and she would eat liver and onions every night.
Liver and onions used to be
staple.
A staple of diet. Like, you used to hear people making that all the time.
Right. So there, and I know this. I'm not going to be able to speak on it just because I'm it's going to be. I know it to be fact because I've heard it from people. Liver and onions, the combination of that because of something that's in the onions.
Yeah, like the aromatic of the onions.
Combining them together it's like superfood.
That makes sense, dude. Onions and garlic. Mm-hmm. Fucking so amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
And that, like, you think about like our grandparents, like that generation, liver and onions. That was a big thing. Nobody eats liver now.
Dude, when we were kids, do you remember the show Doug Funny?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doug.
Yeah,
Doug.
Yep.
I remember there was an episode where his neighbor was like making liver and onions. There's this whole episode about liver and onions where he was just like, "Oh, I don't know if I can eat this," and then he ate it, and then he was like, "Oh, it's so fucking good."
Sure.
When I was a kid, I was like, "Mom, can we have liver and onions, please?" Like,
for sure, because of Doug Funny.
Yeah.
like it's that's a true superfood, but nobody eats that anymore.
Nope.
And you can't find liver. Like, I think I've been to before I found the farm.
Yeah.
They have it at Whole Foods. It's not grass fed though. It's not grass fed. It's just it's like there's like 2 or 3 packages at a time. Sometimes they don't have it in store.
Yeah.
But I had to ask for it. It's like hidden, back in the freezer somewhere. Other than that, you have to source. You have to get it from a farm.
Yeah.
Like there's nowhere to get it.
The amount of people that I know that hunt and throw away all the organ meats.
Oh God, that's the best.
I'm like,
dude.
hey guys, can you just save those for me, please?
It's the best. Like,
you're throwing away the heart, the liver. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you throwing away all these organ meats? They're so good.
For sure. I'm not a hunter. I got to be careful with how many like hobbies I get into because I need to spend some time with work and with family. But I want to get into hunting, and my dream is to like kill an animal on the spot, do all the stuff, and then just a little bit of
take that bite of the heart.
Take a bite of the heart or the liver,
yes,
right out
raw,
there in the field
with the blood and all that.
And then when I eat my raw liver too, like there's a primal, like I eat it bare hand, like I put it on a plate, I cut it up, but I eat it with my hands.
Yeah,
like I don't fucking use a fork or knife or anything.
No,
and and it's kind of chewy, and it sounds weird, but it's just like primal, and I get this something. Like, yeah, dude, and I'll finish eating that. I usually cut like 6 or 8 ounces. I'll eat 2 to 4, and I'll give some to the dogs. But I'll finish eating that, and I'll walk around the house, no one's home, and I'll just be like, I'll have this like sense of like aggressiveness, but like controlled aggression. It's like, and then if my wife's around, I'm like, to the bedroom right now.
I'm
like,
ready to conquer, bro.
Like it is this like. It's like a Viagra, and it's like a steroid. It's like, it is like,
you feel like you're kind of supercharged right now between, I mean, obviously, you're very active. You're in the gym often. You're training more Jiu Jitsu, which is like murder training. You're eating raw foods. You just feel more just in touch with that primal base.
For sure, dude. I have to like be doing something. And a lot of it's physical. Like I'm doing more physical activity right now than I ever have. And I've been in the fitness industry for it's probably been like 10 years now. Actually, probably more than that, 12 years. But I've never done more like physical activity than I do. Like my during the week, my daily routine is I'll work out, usually at like 4:35 a.m. I'll do like an hour workout, like weights, no cardio stuff. But then I'll go do jiu-jitsu from like 11 to 1. And I'm like, and by the end of the day, I'm like dead. But then I'll go coach at night, and I'll like a lot of times with warm-ups over at our third location in Fenton. I have like these four baseball players to come in, and we'll like do like touch football for like kind of the warm up. We'll throw the football around. We're running around like, dude, and it kind of gets me tired. Like it's 20 minutes of like kind of like throwing, sprinting, running, jumping, all this. Yeah. And by the end of the day, I'm like going home. I'm like, man, I've got like 20,000 steps under my belt. That's not even including because my watch isn't on during 2 hours of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So it's like, god damn, like we got a lot in today.
Yeah, bro, your output's insane.
For sure. And if I didn't have that like that diet, and some of it's mental too. Just because of all the reading I do of what I know is happening to my body with that food, I think it's a little bit mental where I'm like, okay, I can do all this activity.
But what isn't mental?
Good. For sure. Like we talk about like some buddies and I talk about like the placebo effect. It's like it works. Who cares?
Why do we discredit that?
It works.
Because I think the placebo effect is just a name that we put onto something that we don't understand.
For sure. Look, whatever can get the mind going, whatever gets the job done.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Who wouldn't want to have, like, the superhuman ability to heal themselves or to change their physical state through their mental fortitude?
For sure.
Like, who wouldn't want to be able to do that? And it's like the type of thing that you only kind of see in X-Men. But we have to account for the placebo effect in all studies.
For sure.
So there's something to that, you know what I mean? Because I'll be like, oh man, maybe it's just placebo, but just placebo. I think just like the placebo is actually the most powerful thing because it's what we're telling ourselves, whether it's like through a physical input or just the intentions that we have by thinking, is healing your body and changing your physical state.
If you can get your mind to a point to believe something,
yes,
like, dude, it can happen. Like this is an extreme example, but let's say you had cancer, and I think there's examples of this where these people, they don't believe in getting treatments. They think they can do it on their own, whether it's through diet, fasting, whatever. But it's all mental. It's like, listen, if you believe in your heart, let's say you have cancer, if you believe and you have these strong convictions that I'm gonna eat, let's say beef liver, raw milk, eggs every single day. I'm not put anything in my body that's not like good for me. There's not a purpose to, I'm not no crap. And you believe that your cancer will go away because of that, bro. It can happen. Like you can make that shit happen. Like I believe that 1,000%.
There's examples of it, man, where people have switched. They've had cancer and shit, and they've switched to like keto or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's completely
you go into remission.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's insane. The things that we put in our body again, and the way we think about it, can completely change the way we interact with this world.
Our mind is absurdly powerful.
Yeah,
it is so powerful. We can make things happen with like belief and conviction beyond like what we could ever think possible.
Yeah, but believing is, dude, this is like something that's really hitting like so close to home for me because I've always been a student of success, and I've always said the things like, yeah, I believe this, or I know that A plus B equals C, and success is just a recipe. You just do the work. You say these things, but you really do have to put in the work, and the belief does follow the work.
For sure.
But when you believe, it's something different. It's more than just saying it. It's like this feeling.
Okay. You just said it. Like you can't describe it, but it, like the belief. Like I know I'm going to make this happen.
Yes.
Like I know that Imposed Will is going to be $1 million company, and it's not just like saying it and in the back of your mind, like, oh, I hope that comes true. No, it's like, dude, I fucking know.
I know it.
Yeah, and you can't like things have to happen. You have to put in the work to get to that point where you actually believe it. But if you can convince yourself that doing X or doing Y is going to get you there, and you really believe it, it's going to happen.
Dude, you can truly manifest the life that you want.
For sure.
You know what I mean? How many times did you think about output performance?
100%.
Right? And then you had these visions.
For sure.
Now it's like in physical space. You have 3 gyms.
Yep. So whenever I was, just getting into the fitness industry, and I was like, I remember my very first job was at this this bodybuilding gym in Kirkwood. I wasn't even a trainer. I just was like doing the front desk, and I was shadowing one of the guys, walking around, like watching him coach his bodybuilder person. And I was really diving hard, and I was just eating, breathing, sleeping, fitness, and I love this shit, whatever. And all my buddies who had these pretty good jobs, making some decent money, and I was making nothing. And they were like, "Yo, what's the goal? Like, what are you trying to do?" And I would always say like, "I want to own my own gym," And that was just kind of a generic answer. Like, I didn't even know. I had no plan to do that. I don't even, looking back on it, like, I don't know if I even wanted to do that, but I would just say it. Mm-hmm. And I said it, and I said it, and I said it. And then I like started to believe it. And then like the world like presented me opportunities, and then it's like, that's not the right thing. And then it's like, oh, my business partner, Paul, and then, oh, CJ, here we are. It's like, whoa. This is a possibility. Yeah, let's run with this.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Here's the gym. I can own my own gym.
It's crazy.
Bam. And then it's like, now we're just taking off, and it's just like it's pretty crazy to see.
Yeah.
Like looking back to where we were, and like, some of these meetings. We had a directors meeting yesterday with our directors of the 3 gyms, and I'm like, we finished the meeting. It was a good meeting, but I'm like, God, we are slacking. Like, we are not where we need to be. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm slacking. I feel like sometimes I'm letting some of my business partners down, because like I got my family, mm-hmm. I got jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is very important to me right now. Like, I want to get fucking good.
Yeah.
I want to get much better.
I wish you had space in your fucking gym to put some mats, bro. I would teach like twice a week in there.
I know. but we had this meeting, and I'm like, man, we are not where we need to be. Like, and I'm not where I need to be. Like, I'm not doing a good job with this business. Like, I feel like I'm pretty good right now with my coaching. Like, I'm very happy, I'm on my A game. Like, I'm doing a good job there, but like business side of things and like working on growth and expansion, I'm like, God, we are not where we need to be. But then like I look back to where we were, and it's like, oh shit, like, okay, just calm down. Like, you'll get there. You'll get to where you want to go. And we have lofty goals and everything, but it's just kind of funny how it all plays out. Or like you get like, I have this guy that I messaged with. He owns a gym in North County. Awesome guy, and he's doing some cool things. And he's always mentioning me like, God, I need to get where you are. And I'm like, bro, you're doing some things better than we are. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like,
yeah, dude.
It's just an interesting perspective. Like, looking back, how far you've come, but then looking at somebody like a company like First Form, like, fuck, we're not there yet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, okay, how do we get there?
Yeah.
And then it's like, what does that look like? And sometimes it's hard to see, but then every once in a while you can kind of like see, okay, here's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
We can start to get there.
Well, I think it's that feeling of you're not where you need to be, and I need to be doing more, mm-hmm. which is going to keep you from being complacent.
For sure.
Like, that's how you get
100%.
To that next level.
100%. But it is important to, just so you don't beat yourself up, because I beat myself up a lot, to like look back and say, hey, okay, we're on the path.
Yeah,
we're on the path. Like, we're not a failure here.
100%. Do you work on like your self-talk
all the time?
I have such negative self-talk. I talk so bad to myself.
Yeah, like I'm trying to get away from that phone a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get into meditation. It's very hard. I've done a little bit of reading about meditation. The best thing I saw is don't do guided meditation. Just go on your couch, put your phone in a different room, no TV, no nothing, and just sit there.
Just be with yourself.
And then it's like, okay, what if you think about something? Okay, cool, whatever. Think about whatever. It's just like, yo, you got to learn to live with yourself in quiet for 10 minutes. If you can't do that, like, you're in trouble.
Right.
That's what these, like people that have self-control and, have found kind of happiness are people that can sit in silence, don't need to check Instagram, don't need to go, look up some YouTube video for an hour, and just can sit by themselves.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
A lot of people have trouble with that.
Oh, I'm the definition of it.
Have you gone to like a float tank or anything? And
no, I was talking about it with somebody yesterday in the sauna Jiu Jitsu. Actually, he was getting ready to leave the gym and go to a float tank. My wife got me one for Father's Day like 2 years ago. And I never got to it. What do you got on those? Have you tried it?
I did it a couple times. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. I personally enjoy sitting there with my thoughts.
For sure.
Yeah, and I found that the time went by really quick.
For sure.
The first time I did it, it was in a pod,
Mm-hmm.
and that was okay. The next time I did it was in like one of like the chamber rooms,
Yep.
and it was, I don't know, I guess this it was a little bit bigger. It was like the size of like a king size bed, and
Mm-hmm.
so you have a little bit more space. So I think that experience was better. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I enjoy it. Again, I like to sit there with my thoughts. I'll just sit there and zone out and just be in my head. I've
Mm-hmm.
always been the type of person to be in my head, but not everybody likes it. Some people don't like to kind of be left alone
For sure.
there with your thoughts.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Like if you find yourself like on the couch, like scrolling Instagram, and you're like, okay, I need to like, this is triggering me. I'm kind of stressed. Like I need to put this phone down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you like take a deep breath, and it's like, shit. Like, what? Wait, I need another hit. Like I
Dude.
need to find something.
Yes.
And then it's just never ending. Like you need a hit. It's like, yo, let it go for a little bit. Like
It's
you
not
don't-
as important as you
right.
think.
You don't need that like that dopamine hit.
It's tough though, man.
I have this tweet, and I forget who sent it. I have it saved, and I forget exactly what it is, but it's like something along the lines of like cheap dopamine is the devil. Like, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Meaning, pornography, like cocaine, quick hit,
Yeah.
sugar, something like that. That's like a quick satisfier.
Yeah.
is not good.
No.
So if you can just kind of delay like satisfaction,
Yeah.
put it off as long as possible. That's a good thing.
Right, because you start entering into that serotonin. Like we want serotonin
Yep.
for happiness. We don't want dopamine.
Right.
Yeah. Man, dude. Yeah. So with the float tanks, I'm surprised by how many people don't want to kind of just sit there with their own thoughts. But I think it's like this balance because I don't know, I just had this thought where, so yeah, we're talking about like the placebo and like the positive aspects, but I think so many people are just worried about what they're going to kind of find when they start looking into their own shit, and you don't want to ruminate on the negative stuff either, but you got to sort through that because there is still like the nocebo effect, right? Where
sure.
if you start ruminating on the bad shit, like that's just going to bring more bad shit into your life.
For
but
sure.
you have to work through that to get to the good.
I don't think there's a bad form of like meditation, or I don't think there's a form of like, whether it's a float tank or just being able to sit silently with your thoughts, like you can sort a lot of things out. And I think the most important thing, whether you're in a float tank or if you're just meditating, is to just be aware.
Yeah.
Like, what am I thinking about? Like what's got my attention? What's maybe making me happy? Or like you can use meditation, like you can think back of like, what's something that really like triggered me? Like when I got angry, what was the cause of it? You know what I mean? Or like, what was a time I was like genuinely happy?
Yes.
Like a moment where it was like, you were just kind of neutral and then, oh, that made me happy. Like, what is it? What was that? What was that thing? I think awareness of self is a really important thing to develop. And it can be developed for sure.
100%.
And I haven't done it yet.
I think Dave is going to do floating today.
Oh, really?
I think he's doing like a 75-minute session.
Woo. That dude's cool.
I like Dave a lot.
He's good, man.
He's such a nice dude.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you introduced me to those guys.
That's a fun group, isn't it?
Dude, I just feel so just honored to know all those guys.
I know. It's a diverse group that everybody kind of does a little something different.
Yeah.
And man, the conversations are so good, like on those
Yeah.
Friday rolls.
Yeah.
It's a good group. And Serge is just hilarious.
I love Serge. I need to have him on the podcast.
You
I
should.
really like
He would be
Serge.
funny. Dude, so yeah, dude, he would have a really interesting perspective. Dude,
For sure.
He grew up in like, communist state of.
Did he?
I think it was. I don't want to misspeak.
Where's he from exactly?
I don't know if it might be Kazakhstan.
Okay.
I think. But he has some wild stories about like, bread lines and.
I bet he does.
Yeah. Like
I
when
bet
he was,
he
I think
does.
it was like 10, 11, 12 years old.
Really?
Like old enough to like have the memory.
Dude, I'm always just so shocked when I talk to people who've lived through just such horrific shit like that.
Man.
I had this girl named Nina Aiden on like way back early. But she was probably like first 10 fucking episodes, and she's up in Chicago. I really need to connect with her again, but she's from Bosnia.
Yeah.
And she was there during like the civil wars and shit. And when she was a kid, like she remembers things being blown up and people dying and all this shit. I'm like, man.
Shit happens around the world, and we've been super lucky, in our lifetime here in the United States, not to have anything. Mm-hmm. But you got to be diligent. You got to make sure that it doesn't.
Yeah, it could at any time.
It could at any time. Like it's amazing to watch. Like think about how fast things turn. Like look at all this COVID shit. Like weird things happen. Like the blink of an eye.
Dude, I was talking to Deja before this. We were talking about food and stuff. I was looking at our pantry. I'm like, Deja, if shit just happened right now, we're probably good for maybe a couple weeks.
For sure.
Think about that. What if you can't go to this grocery store tomorrow? Mm-hmm. Then what?
That's going down more rabbit holes here.
It could all change, bro.
Like, think about, like we had toilet paper shortages or whatever. Think about all this.
But do we need toilet paper?
Lines. No, but
wash your ass.
Exactly. But what if it's food? Imagine the panic that would ensue if you, hop over to your grocery store and there's no food on the shelves. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do?
This is why I want to move away from people.
For sure, dude.
We're talking about moving out in like Wentzville area.
Dude, man. I told my wife, like, right now I've got just like my dream home, dream location.
You're in a real nice spot over there.
Yep. But I'm like, oh man, like, what if we sold this and moved out to like Wildwood?
Dude,
just like had
out
like
west
how
a
it had
bit.
land and wake up and like hear birds chirping, see animals, be able to hike a little bit. Like
walk out your door. Dude, I think about like where Dave's at. He's like right there next to that zombie trail.
Right next to zombie trail.
I'm like, fuck, dude, that's so cool.
That's.
I don't know if I'd ever leave that area. I mean, I don't like being landlocked. It's kind of cool to have access to a highway that's real easy.
For sure.
But that's why. Who gives a shit if everything's right there?
I know, dude. I've been thinking about that a lot lately.
Dude, especially with the way things have gone this past, couple years. Yeah. I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to be this close to people. Man, we're so fortunate here in St. Louis that we have an unbelievable restaurant scene. Mm-hmm. And I truly enjoy it. Like,
for sure.
Just the convenience. It's like, oh, you want to go try somewhere? Or, you have your go-tos. I know you used to go to Union Loafers a lot.
Bro, still.
Do you?
Kidding me?
Dude, I'll probably eat pizza once a week.
For sure.
I fucking love pizza.
Dude, I love Union Loafers. You want to talk about a cheat?
I still have not been there. I really do.
You got to get there. Dude,
I know, dude. You got to order it ahead of time.
Dude, you have to order like they
days
only
ahead.
They only do. You have to order at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
For that night, but you have to call and keep calling at 9 because everybody's calling at 9 to get their orders
to get in. It's that good.
For sure.
It's so high, but there's just so many good places, right? So we're like, oh man, it won't be as convenient. We're gonna miss all this shit that we really like, having the convenience of being close to the city. But I'm like, man, Deja, if some shit goes south, I do not want this many people around me.
Let me paint a picture for you. Like, imagine if you wake up, and it wouldn't be like you wake up one day. It would happen gradually. But the grocery stores start to kind of, oh, there's no bread. Oh, there's no milk. There's no food. Mm-hmm.
And it can happen.
It can happen. So all those people, and that's speaking to 99% of, we'll just call it St. Louis right now. What are they gonna do? You want to talk about desperation? Imagine if you've got, like, I've got 2 kids, and they're gonna get fed. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how popular this opinion is gonna be, but like, I really like my neighbors. But if shit really hits the fan and we don't have food, like, I'm going to walk over to the neighbor's house. I'm going to go in his fridge. I'm going to take his food.
See, dude, that's the scary thing, right? Because I think that's what a lot of people, we would all probably get to this point to where it's like, fuck, man, I need to worry about me and mine and take care of this situation. It'd be nice to have a situation where it's like, fuck, man, maybe me and my neighbors can come together and build some shit together so that way we can all survive. But how many people are going to go straight to that community mindset?
They're not. Yeah, and how many of those do you trust? How many of those do you want on your team? Okay, here's a good example.
We don't have a good community now, right? Do you know your neighbors like that?
No, and nor would I want them like
a part of the team.
Yeah, like that's like weak link. Like I'm gonna have to like pick you up and carry. You know what I mean? I look at like our Friday crew, like Serge, Dave, that's the type of people that I want on my team. Dudes that are capable, people that are capable, that you don't need to, kind of bring along. You know what I mean?
Right. Everybody can pull their weight.
And that's not to try to, strike fear and everything, but like, be prepared. Like, that shit could happen. That's not like that's not crazy talk.
Yeah.
Like that could happen.
Well, if you look, we've had societal resets where we just had to completely restart society, right? Where, I mean, it's really nice to have computers and all this shit, but we've lost so many skills. I don't garden.
No.
Like, I don't know how to really go forage food. Talk about hunting.
Yeah.
I bought a bow and I've been practicing archery and shit, and I thought I was going to make it out there this year, but I just been so busy
Yep.
focusing on these other things. Like, I don't have time to.
Our skills are gone. Dude,
to
look at
go
me. Like,
sit
yeah,
out in the
I
woods.
drink raw milk and eat the organ meats and all that shit, but I would have no clue.
How do you procure that?
Right. I gotta get it from the farm. You know what I mean? I've got some buddies that hunt and know how to do all that. But I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
It'd be tough, dude.
For sure.
So when I'm thinking about moving out to get some space, I'm like, man, it'd be nice to have a well and some chickens and learn how to start gardening and maybe start identifying some of the local vegetation and
For sure.
Like, what does this flower do? But that is just so much knowledge and time. It's like, how
For
the
sure.
fuck am I supposed to build a business in this space, in this world,
Well, yeah.
and focus on these skills?
For sure, and it goes along. You know, this is a great conversation. I love this shit because I think about this a lot. Like, what is happiness? And I think about that all the time. Like, I've really kind of grown up, and even in the last 10 years, thought like, hey, I need to get rich. I need to make money. I need to, and then I'll say like, I need to impact lives, which is like true, but like, you know what I mean? It's like that's a lot of times the line, and I don't care. Every person in fitness says that shit.
We want to make money.
We want to make money.
We're just trying to provide for.
You want to provide for your family. You want to create an amazing life for yourself. And if you're not doing that, sorry, that sucks for you.
Yeah.
But I think about like what you were just talking about, moving somewhere out a little bit further west, having land, having a well, like waking up, doing what you want, maybe driving like 30 minutes to go train jiu-jitsu at some gym, like, a little bit further away, coming back, working on your farm, doing this. Like, is that happiness? Like, I think about that. I'm like, shit, with my family out there, my girl, I'm like, man, that could be pretty cool. That could be pretty fun. The only thing I worry about is like, would that get old after, a couple months?
Maybe.
But like maybe waking up with the sun, going to bed when the sun goes down, reading. Like,
Yeah.
I
don't think life has to be so complicated.
It doesn't, and it is. We make it complicated.
Way complicated. The whole economic system is it's not real. It's a game. Money's not even real.
For sure.
40% of all money in circulation today has been printed in the last 18 months.
For sure.
Almost half of our money
has
come in the last 18 months. What? It's not real.
What is happiness for you?
Man,
have you ever thought about that stuff?
I think about it often because where I'm at in my life, I honestly, I've been so obsessed my whole life with money. I'm always thinking about, man, how can I solve this economic piece? I just want to make a whole bunch of money because I grew up with no money. Like my parents they didn't have a lot of money, and I'm even to where I'm at today. I've never really made I've never made six figures in a year, and I went to college. And I got my degrees, and I did the whole corporate thing, and that felt so soul-sucking and just soul-numbing. I wasn't happy doing that.
For sure.
So I went down this whole path, doing everything I was told to do, and I made some I made some bad decisions as a kid, like getting married so young to a person who was just, we weren't compatible, and having kids and all these things. So I thought about this a lot. Where I'm like, man, I think I could probably be a millionaire right now had I not made some poor choices as a kid, but this is just where we are. So it leads me to constantly think about solving this economic piece of the puzzle where I'm like, man, I just want to make a whole bunch of money. But then what, right? Like once I have the money, because I feel like the money will come inevitably if I just keep doing what I'm doing. But I'm like, man, does that matter? Because honestly, everything that I do now, I would keep doing what I'm doing.
For sure.
Like, I don't really do anything that I want to do because of money. I just do it because I want to do it, and I hope the money will follow. So for me, happiness literally just looks like what I'm doing. I think about that. So many people have all the money, they have all these things.
It's a tough question.
But they're unhappy. For me, it's like the complete opposite. Like, I'm super happy with everything I'm doing. I feel like excuse me, I feel like I have all these pieces kind of figured out in a way. Like, there's still maybe some personal relationships that I need to to get stronger with like my mom and my family and shit, but I'm actually super happy. I'm just trying to make more money now.
For sure.
So it's like, man, happiness for me looks like what I'm doing. Man, I would want to keep podcasting and doing jujitsu and just hanging out with the people that I care about and just doing the things that I want to do, which is a lot of what I want to do. I would just do more of it if I had more money.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think money would make me happier, to be honest with you, because money just it makes life easier.
Money 100% will make you happier.
Yes.
Like, that is such a bullshit. Money doesn't make you happy. Like, I get the principle, but you need money to be happy.
It would make me so happy just to go and do what I want when I want
sure.
with my friends.
Yes.
It would make me so happy to take all my friends out to like $1,000 dinner and just pick up the tab.
How fucking cool would that
awesome,
be, bro?
dude.
Or like to go to go out to dinner somewhere, with the wife. It's like a $40 bill, and you leave like $1,000.
Dude,
To some
how
like
fucking cool would
waitress
that
or
be?
something. Or like dude, and I think like Andy Frisella did this the other, that Charlie dude.
Yeah.
He needed like $150,000 to reach his goal for this, charity thing. And Andy just calls him, was like, "Yo, how much do you need?" And he's like, $152,000. Some blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, done."
Yeah.
Dude, how fucking amazing would that be?
Dude,
How cool would that feel?
I want to do that because I think about how I would feel. Because here's the thing. You can't just give money to everybody, right?
For sure.
'Cause some people are just going to fucking blow it,
For sure.
right? So as a successful person, you're almost in the situation where it's like, how can you help really anybody? Because you feel like you're just going to just wasting your money because they got to work for it.
Yep.
And you probably worked to where you got.
Yep.
But I think about how good it would feel if somebody just like spotted me like $50K
Yep.
and like, hey, go do, because like a person like me or a person like you, that $50K could literally be the seed money to change your entire
For sure.
fucking trajectory,
For
right?
sure.
So I'm like, man, how good would that feel if someone did that to me? I would really love to do that for somebody else someday.
For sure.
So man, yeah, I think about money, and dude, money would make me exceptionally happy. So I feel like I got to solve that piece. It's
Yep.
it's just vital
For sure.
to your way of living, but it's not everything, right? And I feel like when I think about happiness, I just have everything in place that would make me happy. I'm doing everything that would make me happy. I just need to make money doing it now.
For sure. The money allows you to do things that make you happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what would really make me happy right now is to hop on a private jet and to fly to, like, some really big time, like Austin, Texas, and go train with, like, John Danaher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not realistic for me right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that kind of money. But that would make me happy. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So yeah, the happiness thing. It's an interesting question, and I always think it makes me think. Like, am I doing what makes me happy? Yeah, for sure. But like, if I had all the money in the world, I'd probably maybe not doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I probably wouldn't teach as much jiu-jitsu.
For sure.
But I would still keep training like crazy.
For sure. Like what I think about, like what makes me really happy is like usually Saturday and Sunday mornings, or Saturday afternoons and Sunday mornings, I'm hanging out with my family. That makes me so fucking happy. Like I love, like I'm not stressed. I'm like watching these little girls run around. I'm asking them questions, and they're thinking. Like my 3.5-year-old, she's thinking, and it's like, oh, it's so fun. Friday afternoons training jiu-jitsu with Serge, Dave and Mike. It's like, that makes me happy. Having those kind of conversations with cool people, like that invigorates me, man.
Yes.
Like having, like, that's why this thing you got going here, fuck you. You're so fucking lucky. Like, what a cool thing.
I feel so
You
energized.
get to chat with these people. I've thought about doing a podcast for I don't know, like 3 years now, and it's just
Started
like,
one, bro.
I know. I just like, it's fucking hard. Like what you've done here is incredible. You know what I mean? But to be able to have these conversations with cool people, like that's cool.
See, that's the thing. I feel super fortunate to be doing this. And whenever I look at like, man, I was just in my apartment and I was just sitting on my couch, and you saw, dude, it wasn't anything spectacular. It's still not. But I'm like, man, now I actually have like lights in the space,
Studio.
and it's
Studio.
it's like a studio, right? And it's like moving in the right direction. So that feels cool. And I would keep doing this whether I'm not making money, but there's still that whole thing in the back of my head. I was like, fuck,
gotta
dude,
make money.
I gotta make money.
sure.
Like, how can this become valuable enough,
sure.
or where people actually care to, like, enough people want to listen? Because I try not to obsess over the numbers or the stats or anything like that. I just try to put out good content. But the numbers matter
For sure.
because the numbers are what equate dollars,
For sure,
right?
dude.
So I'll look around or I'll look at the stats and shit. I'm like, whoa, man, like a lot more people are listening than I realize. And I think I talk to people and they'll be like, oh, I think they just have the assumption we all make assumptions, but they'll have the assumption like, oh man, like you're probably really big in St. Louis or something. But dude, I have a pretty big audience here in Missouri, but my second biggest audience is in California. My third biggest is in New York,
Yeah.
and then Florida. So it's like I have audiences in these big
sure.
markets actually. But it's just it's like just attaching the dollar,
Yep.
the dollars to it.
For sure.
And I know it'll come, but I don't know, man. It's just weird.
Yeah, but it's so like it's cool. Like this is like you're technically working right now. Like we're doing this podcast, but like
Yeah.
man, you're just chopping it up with someone.
Yeah,
Like that's
just hanging out with
cool,
my buddy
man.
Stu,
Like,
bro.
I know. Like it's cool to be able to, like I feel like I'm at my happiest for sure. Like obviously when I'm hanging out with my family, but like if I'm at the gym and I may be working with some client and the conversations turns to something interesting.
Yes.
Like they might present a problem to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, like yeah, man. Like hey, how you doing? I'm not gonna bullshit you today, man. I'm not doing well. And then I kind of like I perk up. I'm like, okay, time to go to work.
Yes.
Let's chat.
I wish I could have more real conversations with people like that.
For sure.
Because we're always trying to just be happy and oh, how are you doing? Oh, I'm great.
For sure.
Meanwhile, it's like, dude, honestly, I've just been stressing for the past 12 hours about how I'm going to fucking do this thing. Or it's like, oh, I
Yeah.
got 20 different things I need to fucking do.
I
And
mean, the way my job is too. I mean, I probably have like 20 or 30 people each day that I'm having a pretty in-depth conversation with about hey, how's your body feeling? How we doing? With the blah 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 blah. And I'm pretty good, like intuition, like can tell like okay, something's off with that person.
yeah.
And then I never have a problem like, what's up? What's going on? Oh, I'm good. What's going on?
Yeah.
Come on, like
Let's
let
get
me
real.
let's open up a little bit. Like let me open up with you. I'll open up to my clients sometimes.
Yeah.
Might be frowned upon, with wait, you're their strength coach and you're telling them like, oh, I'm stressing because I got to go to the school board meeting because I got to make sure this fucking school doesn't make my daughter wear a fucking mask anymore. That's what I'm stressed about. And then I'm like, sorry, like I just laid that on pretty hard to you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And they're like, oh no, it's okay. Like, yeah, I'm stressing too. I got this and this and this going on. It's it's a cool way to like open up the conversation.
Right. You don't want to live in that negative place.
For sure.
But it helps to express
Get it
the
out.
Yeah,
Yep.
just to express
Get
it.
it out. It
And
feels good too. I can
Yeah.
see that in people. Like
Yeah.
when like when someone's just kind of quiet. And dude, this was probably 5 months ago or so. I trained this client. She's really cool, and she gets to the gym, and I see her car pull up, and she's just sitting out there, and it's 9:30, and her session's supposed to start at 9:30, and she gets there at like 9:20. She's still out there, and out there. I'm like, what? I don't know what's going on. What is she doing out there? And then it's like 9:40, and I'm like, I text her. I'm like, yo, are you coming in? And she was like, maybe. And I'm like, what's going on? And so I like go over to CJ and I'm like, yo, like, who's my business partner? He's also a coach. He's like, what should I do? Like, I've got somebody else coming in at 10:30. Like, this is kind of weird. And so we kind of like I look over I look a little bit closer and she is just bawling in her car, bawling. And I'm like, oh shit. Like, I'm like, I'm not going out there, bro. And he's like, dude, you gotta go out there. Like that person is bawling their eyes out.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. Like, and I know her, but like, because I obviously train her, but not in that capacity. I'm like, this is different. Like, woo.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm going out there. So I kind of like go out there next to her car, and she's like actively bawling. And I kind of like knock on the window and open the door. And long story short, like, her mom was making her feel real bad about her weight. With the wedding coming up, and she wanted, make sure she loses weight. So I was like, all right, well, giving her my whole spiel, whatever. And then we ended up just walking around Hanley Industrial where the gym is.
Mm-hmm.
We walked around for like 40 minutes. I didn't even charge her for the session. We just walked and like chatted. And I could just tell by the time she left, it was like, oh,
Yeah.
like I told somebody. This has been weighing heavy on my mind because, her mom had said something, like that the night before or something, and it just, everything kind of boiled over.
Right.
But she left there, and it was like, I told somebody. It's off my chest, and it felt like good. And we had like a kind of a plan of like, hey, here's probably where she's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then, hey, this is first of all, this isn't the case. Like, you look fine. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, she might be projecting some insecurities onto her daughter or whatever, but you could tell that like just opening up like that made a difference.
Right. Yeah, man. You can sometimes like you said, you can just tell when something is just really ruminating on somebody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll ask them a question, and then they'll just start. Sometimes they'll just start just giving it everything to you,
Yep,
and then they'll just everything that's on their mind. They'll just share it. I've been
for
guilty
sure.
of that. I'm just like, man, you didn't
Sure.
ask me this question, but
For
I'm gonna
sure.
tell you everything that's on my mind right now because I've been thinking about it for the last like week.
Dude, it's so funny you say that because that actually happened today, like 2 minutes ago with me. Like, everything's good, but like this whole school and mask thing with my daughter is like I'm losing sleep over it.
Hmm.
And it's funny just how I brought that up,
Yeah,
like randomly, like
but
and no context, just that's on my mind.
it's on your mind, dude,
Yeah.
and I'm with you. Dude, my son, his nose is all dry right here from his mask.
Yeah.
And they're in the Pattonville School District, and I
Mhm.
just feel like there's such fucking weak leadership.
Dude, it's everywhere.
Dude, it's
Every school,
everywhere.
every one of these schools, man, and the school boards. And I went to the our school board meeting. It was on Monday night, and I'm just they talked about like the COVID protocol or the return to school protocol, which is mask requirements. My daughter's fucking 3.5. She wears this fucking mask. It comes home half the time upside down. It's got food all over it. She came home a couple weeks ago with a different mask on, like somebody else's mask. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? She hates it. You know what I mean? It drives me insane. And I went to the school board meeting on Monday night, just to kind of I wanted to get the lay of the land. And it wasn't supposed to be a big topic because there was no votes on whether they're going to rescind the mask thing. But I just wanted to get a lay of the land. I went with two of my other buddies who also have kids in the same school district. And we wanted to get a feel for what's the deal. And then the next one we go to, bro, I'm gonna fucking stand up and I'm gonna have my shit with me, like my facts,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna try to stay calm. But it might be hard. Like
It's tough, dude.
Yeah,
These administrators have their minds made up,
yeah.
and they're not healthy people
No,
at all.
not at all.
They don't know about health.
Yeah, and I don't they don't mean like ill will towards the kids. They're just like fucking zombies, just like robots following along with whatever whatever they're told. They're not like thinking like common sense.
Right.
Like, bro, masks don't work. Like, sorry. Like,
Right.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Why are we
here?
still arguing this?
Right, and she's 3.5, man. Like, what is that doing for her development? Age 3 to 5, huge thing. Development is happening in that age. She can't see her teacher's mouth. She can't read lips. She can't see facial expressions.
Yeah.
and
How
she
do you
wears
learn how to?
wears that thing all fucking day. God, it pisses me off. Sorry.
No, dude, me too. How do you learn how to read body language and
Right.
nonverbal communications?
sure.
Like my daughter, she feels weird not wearing a mask now. Like she's
Yeah.
been conditioned. I'm like, fuck, dude.
I
I'm
know.
like, Addison, take your mask off. You don't need it, but she feels uncomfortable. And these schools have just conditioned these kids where, at their school district, they're talking about having optional masks whenever they came back. But they're like, all right, well, if we reach 2% positivity rate, then we're gonna go back to masks. And my son, before Christmas break, it was like they're getting out on the last day was Wednesday. This is a Monday. I had to go pick him up from school because he had a migraine, and they're like, "Oh, these are COVID symptoms. So he needs to come home now, and you have to get a test for him to come back." I'm like, "Well, they'll just come back after the fucking break. Like, I'm not
Right.
gonna play your fucking game."
Right.
I ended up getting them a test on Wednesday morning because they just wanted to go back to school so fucking bad. So
Yeah.
I got them their test. But either way, on Monday, whenever I'm picking them up, I go in, I pick them up. I didn't wear a fucking mask in school because fuck your shit.
Yep.
And I'm listening to the principal talk to one of the just a secretary or something, and he just had so much concern about the kids coming back from break and not wearing masks. He's like, I just know all these kids, there's going to be kids coming back. They're going to be sick, blah, blah, blah. Dude, the day before they even got off of break, before they're about to come back to school, we get an email. Oh, we've already reached the 2% mark. We're going to have masks for the next 2 weeks. What do you mean? You haven't even come back to school. You have
Right.
2%.
Yeah, how do
What are you talking about? How do you
Right.
have this number? Can you show me the data?
Are these
Is it real data, or are you just making that up because you're
Right.
scared? Because I've already heard an administrator express their concern about this, and now I'm seeing actions being taken not off of data, but off of your fears.
Are these people brainwashed? You think?
I think so.
I mean, some of the, and not just school people. Just there's other people. It's like, yo, what are we doing here?
Yeah, you're taking all nuance out
Yeah.
of this conversation.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Shit is very wrong right now.
Mhm.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
Like all these people who are vaccinated are getting and spreading COVID. Why? Like that's
It's not even a
weird.
vaccine. A vaccine is supposed
Right,
to
well, yeah,
prevent you from getting
Exactly,
something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Somebody just posted a meme on Instagram. It was a funny one. It was like, what is it, Steve Carell, and he's like looking like what or whatever. Like, and the caption was like, if you had been given 3 polio vaccines in the last year and you got polio, would you ask questions?
Yeah. Well, you're missing context because this isn't the same thing. Blah. What are you talking about?
No, but they
what
just
do you
have
mean?
they just have people like so brainwashed, and I just don't understand like the thinking, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, and I really try to step back and I think, okay, maybe am I being crazy?
Mhm.
Like, am I the one that's like not critically thinking? And then I'm like, no. I've come back to it every time. I'm like, no, like the shit, like, and I don't know any answers. I just know something's really off. Like some of the things we're doing, like
Intuition goes a long way.
for sure. I'm like, what are we doing? Why are these kids wearing masks in school? Why are we forcing this vaccine down everybody's throat? Like, really forcing it down when like it's like it doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Not the way they promised.
Like I know some people that have been hospitalized, but that are vaccinated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's the?
Dude,
What,
I know
like,
people who have had issues after getting
for sure,
vaccines.
for sure,
Like
Oh,
serious issues.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people have gotten
Dude, I know
had
somebody
issues.
who has his whole life has had heart issues.
Yeah.
He got COVID, recovered from it. His heart was doing fine. Doctors still recommended he get the vaccine. Listened to his doctor, got the vaccine. All of a sudden, he's having fucking issues.
Mm-hmm.
Got COVID again. Now his heart is performing awful.
Yep.
And trying to figure out some shit now.
Look at these elite athletes. It's a lot of the pro soccer guys out in Europe.
Mhm.
A lot of them are like they're not dropping dead on the field, but they're going down, having like heart attacks on
Yeah.
the field. It's happened like multiple times. The top free diver in the world retired. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Yeah, the top. Let's say he's like the number 1 free diver in the world. You know, he does like 10-minute free dives or whatever. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a long ass time to be underwater. He's got like the world record or whatever, and he's done. Done. And he blamed the vaccine.
Oh fuck, dude! It's scary stuff, man. You're seeing a lot of people have issues, and we're just ignoring them. We're
For
not
sure.
even asking questions.
Right. Ask the questions. There's just a lot of shit doesn't make sense. Like I just posted something up on my Instagram the other day. It was in Maryland. In the month of December, I'm gonna butcher the numbers. But it's like between 3,000 and 6,000 people tested positive for COVID that were unvaccinated. 129,000 tested positive that were vaccinated.
That's like
those were roughly
Yeah.
It was like I think the numbers were like 94% were vaccinated and like 6% unvaccinated.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like,
But that's not the narrative that's being put out there.
Right. And then, okay, so if that's happening, why are we forcing the vaccine? Why are we like talking about vaccine mandates?
Yeah.
Whoa.
That used to be a conspiracy theory.
For sure. Dude, there's a lot of things that were conspiracy theories that are coming true.
Yeah, man. It's
These pesky conspiracy theorists have been right pretty much at every turn.
Yeah, dude. I think I've talked about it on the show before, but like the term was coined by the CIA in like '67 or some shit, right?
Yep.
To discredit people who question the official
question
narrative,
it,
right?
yep.
So, yeah, man. I mean, why is it conspiracy
For sure.
when there's evidence?
Yeah, somebody just posted a tweet 2 years ago today.
Mhm.
The WHO tweeted, "There's significant evidence." I'm going to butcher the exact tweet, but there's significant evidence to suggest that the novel coronavirus does not there's no transmission from human to human. It's 2 years ago today.
Oh, really?
No human to human transition or
Wow.
transmission.
That's funny.
So it's like, okay. And I was on the shitter today, and I was like thinking about it, and I was like reading that, and I was like, That's so weird. I was like, okay, follow the science.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody might have said that like 2 years ago. They were like, oh, here's the WHO. Like, follow the science. You can't transmit it. It's like, okay, well, maybe we should question the science. Isn't that what science is? Like, question,
Yeah.
you know?
When you look at history and we'll look at movies and we'll easily accept that people are fallible and they'll do things that aren't like they'll be manipulated or they'll do things that just aren't honest for themselves out of greed or whatnot. But when we put it in context of today, for some reason we act like that's just fairy tale and can't happen.
For sure.
And people aren't just doing things in their own best interest.
Yep.
A lot of these governments around the world, especially here in America, we've gone to this place to where everybody is sick until proven healthy. It's just whole mentality shift of where it's like in France where you're guilty until proven innocent. Now that's where we are. You're guilty until proven innocent.
For sure.
It's like, when did that switch? When did that flip?
It's create a problem, stroke the fear, and then present the solution.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And
Yeah.
then they've got all these people eating out of the palm of their hand. You know, right now it just happens to be, you know, masks and vaccines and this and that is going to help you. It's no, like,
Yeah.
be healthy.
Deja made his comment on something, asking just a very rational question, and the person was like, people don't like people who don't get the vaccine are just fucking morons. And they're saying, what the fuck did he say? Oh, he said natural immunity doesn't exist. That's weird. You're telling me your immune system, which is created by nature, is not real. It doesn't exist. Because we're coining these terms, right? These buzzwords, and we're creating divisive statements, and we're ignoring reality.
Yeah.
Your immune system is there to help keep you healthy and protected, and it's what you have to take care of to live.
I don't know that person, but they've been brainwashed.
For sure.
Like that. Like
For
that's
sure.
just not rational.
Some person living in California, not
Yeah.
very healthy.
Yeah,
she looked at their profile.
For sure.
I'm like, that person's an idiot.
Like, I have some people that are close to me that I love dearly that, you know, are brainwashed right now.
Yeah.
That think I'm not vaccinated and I'm not going to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
They think I'm fucking crazy. And I'm like,
Why?
why?
Why can't you just make a choice?
I'm like, God, like, are you paying attention? Like, just pay attention. Ask some questions. And I guess maybe it's hard to pay attention because the media is so, you know, geared toward this narrative.
Yeah.
But there's just a lot of things that aren't
Yeah.
adding up. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And here's the thing. This is what frustrates me the most, actually. I've dedicated a lot of my life to being healthy and to studying health and wellness. So much so, all the way back in dude, I took mostly science-heavy courses throughout almost all my schooling. I took, starting back in high school, I was taking AP Anatomy, and I took AP Bio, and I was taking Chemistry, and I took Physics, and I took Athletic Training. And then in college, I was an athletic training major, and I was a pre-med major for most of that time until switching to business, strictly just kind of out of time. Like, I wanted to graduate in 4 years, but so I've been studying this shit for a long time, on top of the fact that I've just kind of been in this space as a health coach and a personal trainer, and these certifications and just countless hours of self-study, whether that's actually reading the literature that are, the studies that get put out, or listening to podcasts or doctors. We have so much access to real information that is credible. I've taken the time to educate myself and to listen to these people. Dude, you listen to the Huberman Lab podcast, you're getting an education from a Stanford PhD.
Yep.
Like, why is that not valid information? Because I'm not paying Stanford and going to their courses, and I don't have this formal education.
Right.
Like, I went through the formal education process. I have a master's degree in healthcare administration, so I understand the business of healthcare. I actually studied the shit.
For sure.
So because I don't have PhD or MD or DO behind my name, it's like you just discredit all this information and experience and knowledge because follow the science. Oh, are you a scientist? Are you a virologist? It's like, no, but I'm a fucking person who has a brain, and I took the time to educate myself.
And most important of all of that, you are someone who can think critically.
Yeah.
And that has been lost, I think. And, I like to think that I do the same. And I just have intuition. You mentioned that word earlier. And a lot of like science people might be like, oh yeah, that's, totally It's like, no, something's off.
Yeah.
Like there's something,
Yeah.
and then you hear about like all these, the VAERS report where it's like, yo, they're hiding a lot of this
Not everything
vaccine
gets
data. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, is that concerning to people? You know what I mean? Like it's yeah, sure. I'm I'd go take a high school biology class and probably fail or whatever right now, but like I know. Like this intuition, there's something wrong.
Yes, just trust your gut.
There is something that is off, and I think a lot of people aren't doing that thinking. They're just kind of like going along. Oh, the CDC says this, and then President Biden says this, and blah 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 blah. It's like, stop and think, like critically, like something's really wrong, and then look at history.
Yeah.
When you see something, you listen to these, and a lot of these people are. Dismissing the doctors that have been on Rogan. They're like, these guys are false information. But it's like, well, those guys have some absurd resumes.
Mm-hmm.
They are high level educators, board certified Harvard medical doctors. Shouldn't we time out? Like, shouldn't we take into consideration what they're saying?
No, not if they're not on your team.
Right. Like
they got to be on my team,
like,
bro.
Yo, because like you and I, like we're not like telling people, hey, you gotta go do this. We're just telling people, yo, like take a chill pill for a second, time out, ask some questions. Like things seem off. We don't know what the answers are.
Yeah.
Some people are trying to tell us what the answers are. Go get the vaccine.
Yeah.
But it's like no, like time out. Like I have questions first.
Yeah.
I'm confused. There's a lot of data that's, one, it's being suppressed, and two, if you look at it, it's saying, hey, don't go get the vaccine.
Yeah.
So why is that? Why are people, and sure, they're on Joe Rogan, whatever, but they're pretty fucking qualified.
Yeah.
They are high level, they have high level resumes.
Doesn't it feel weird to even mention Joe Rogan anymore?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I heard it on Rogan, or because now it's like this thing. Oh, you heard it on Rogan.
It's frowned upon.
It's like what do
it's
you?
It's almost like the new like. Oh, you looked it up on Wikipedia.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean?
It's like, yo, like, dude, I listen to, I listen, I pick and choose which episodes I listen to. I don't listen to them all. But,
Exactly.
I mean, that guy, in my perspective, he's very just open. He wants to just
He's
figure
not
shit
just
out.
a comedian.
No, I was having this conversation with my brother over Christmas. Joe Rogan, Dave Portnoy, Clay Travis. So some of these guys, that is media right now. Those are real journalists. They are just people that are like asking questions and like, hey, we're not giving you answers, but like, hey, here's what's going on.
Yeah, like Matt Taibbi.
Yeah, like here's the information. Like, make of it what you will.
Mm-hmm.
Versus like Fox, CNN, all they're just spew. Hey, you need to think like this. It's like, don't tell me how to think, don't tell me what to think. Just give me the information and let me decipher it.
Right. Yeah, man. There's just so much decisive or divisive information that's being put out. Like either you're on my team or you're not. And if you're not, then you're against me, and you're stupid. And you just critical thinking just seems to be going out the window.
For sure.
Just think for yourself, and maybe you are. I don't know.
Yeah, and then the freedom thing, man. It's like, yo, I just leave us alone. Like, don't like I'm not gonna go murder, rape, steal, and kill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
isn't that good enough for society?
Yeah, let me go do my thing. Let me go try to, make money and build a cool business and let my daughter go to school without her fucking mask on. Listen, if you're worried, if you have genuine concerns and you want to send your kid to school in a mask, that's fine. Send him to school in a mask. Send him to school in a fucking helmet. I don't care.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. But I don't want my daughter going to school in a mask.
Yeah.
Especially when, if that mask were saving lives, if that really prevented, then yeah, I'd probably play along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm looking, the data says no.
Yeah.
So this is just facial decorations.
Well, dude, don't you know you have a social obligation to everybody but yourself? Yeah. That's what is the narrative. And what happened to just being free? And being free doesn't mean I have to trample on everybody else's shit, but it doesn't mean you get to trample on mine either. Yeah, the world isn't risk free.
Yeah, leave me alone, and I'm gonna leave you alone. For real. Like, that's how it needs to be. Like, yo, let me do my thing. Now, you know, if you're going to go rape, if you're going to go steal, if you're going to go kill or cause harm, then yeah, we're going to have problems, and you need to go be dealt with, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in the system or whatever. But let me be free. Let me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go do what I want to
It
do.
really is a question of freedom, in my
For
opinion.
sure.
You know,
For
it's
sure.
man, we're in this place to where it sounds really good to where it's like, yeah, you have a social obligation and you can't be a dickhead and just completely trample over what's good for like the greater good for the people around you. And that's true to an extent, right? Like
Hmm.
be a good person, like be a good member of your community.
For sure.
But why does being a good member of my community mean doing all this extra shit to where it's like I have to completely suppress my freedoms to make
Exactly.
you feel comfortable. You
Exactly.
know, you're free to do you, and I'm free to do me, and it's okay to disagree,
Hmm.
but we can still coexist.
For sure. And I think some of these people come from a good place.
For sure.
You know, I think some people are brainwashed into, you know, that this COVID thing is end of world or whatever it might be, and all that information's coming out now that it's not. It's
Yeah.
not serious. People aren't getting deathly sick anymore. I mean, I'm sure there are some examples, but I think a lot of the people that come from with the opposite viewpoint of us, they come with it from a good place,
Mm-hmm.
like they're good people, because they want to get back to normal or whatever, and they want society to run well, and they have good hearts and all that stuff. But I think there's just confusion on that doesn't work.
Yeah. What is normal? You know,
I don't know.
can we get back to
I
that
don't know.
place?
I don't think so. You know, and I think a little bit differently than most. I think there's a lot of things that are weird, that are wrong right now. I think that there's some big factors at play, conspiracy wise. Just things don't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, January 6th, like like if that wasn't a false flag event, I don't know what was. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you look at the guy Ray Epps that they're talking about, the guy is on video. He is like riling up all of the MAGA people
Mhm.
and getting them to like storm the Capitol. A lot of them are kind of like standing around like confused, like not sure. And then this guy is like he's a big man. He's an authoritative man. He's riling him up. This is all on video.
Mm-hmm.
And his name's Ray Epps. And he gets him to go in. Ray Epps has been questioned under oath by the FBI, or by Ted Cruz. Interviewed the FBI director. Was like, "Do you know who Ray Epps is?" I think I've heard that name. You know, I don't have any information. Was the FBI? This is Ted Cruz talking to the FBI director. Did the FBI take any part in inciting violence or contributing to violence on January 6th? I can't reveal that information right now. Okay, boom. You're guilty. I'm sorry. Like you're guilty.
Yeah.
Like why? How can you not just say like no, we were not?
Right.
You're under oath.
Yeah.
So you didn't say, but if you
Should be
didn't do
clear.
it, yeah, it's very clear.
Yeah. I'm so
So-
ignorant
so-
on that whole January 6th
And
thing.
they've brought this guy Ray up. There's videos of fucking Capitol Police handing weapons out of the windows.
What?
Bro, this shit is weird.
Whoa.
For sure.
It's such a crazy event, right?
There were definitely bad, you know, like MAGA people in there. Like
Yeah.
you can't storm that.
It's
shit.
like a mix, right? But
right, but there was something else at play.
Yeah, and we're like a year away. Like it just happened a little over a year ago now,
and
right?
Like a week before the January 6th, Trump, you know, announced that
Yeah.
he was going to have, you know, a big speech rally or whatever on January 6th, and then he canceled it like 2 days before. I mean, it's just all, you know.
Yeah. How are we supposed to look at that situation?
It
Is
freaks
that
me out.
treason?
It freaks me out, man. All that shit freaks me out. Like I don't know what to think. Like you can't storm the Capitol for sure. Like
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Like that act is treason,
That is
right?
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Like,
That's bad. Like
At a point in time, that would have been death.
for sure. Like you can't do that. But I'm also looking at the other factors. Like why is this guy Ray Epps, who's an FBI agent,
Yeah.
like the ringleader inciting people? Why is there video of like Capitol Police with the barricades like pulling them back and like
Yeah.
watching people? And then and then it bugs me, bro, that fucking Kamala Harris gets on there and compares it to like Pearl Harbor. It's like, look at the videos of it. Like, sure, it was bad, but like, look at the videos. There's like old ladies in there.
People aren't dying
Like,
at that rate.
There's like,
she's a joke. I have such.
she's
Dude, I'll hear her on the
She's
fucking dude. I'll hear her some of her interviews and shit. I'm like, did you just say anything?
for sure.
Or she'll get super offended and she'll just try to defend something. It's like, what are you talking about?
For sure, she's tough. But like comparing that to Pearl Harbor or World Trade Center, bro. Like,
or countless.
dude, I remember 9/11 real well.
I think we did 9/11 personally.
Oh, bro.
I'm pretty confident. Here's the thing. Let me say this. I'm gonna preface with this.
For sure.
Whenever I was a kid, and I was probably 7th grade when that happened, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I remember watching that on TV and thinking that was a demolition video.
Yep.
Because I've seen buildings get blown up, and
Sure.
it looked just like that.
For sure. So, man, I don't want to get in trouble talking about this shit.
I will.
But I'm with you. And if you were to tell me 3 years ago, whenever I read about like 9/11 conspiracies of the U.S. government, I was like, fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the U.S. government would never do that. Like, that is like terrible talk.
They've done
whatever.
so many things.
And now I'm like, yo, bro. And then if you look at the events after 9/11, it's like, the war. It's like, yo, this is like a playbook.
Yeah, weapons of mass destruction.
And look at history. Like, and I'm talking about not just like, 50s, 60s, 70s. I'm talking like all the way back. Like, look at like what, like different things. And it's like, oh my God, bro. Like, there's evil. There's bad people.
People want to control people, and there are people with no conscience.
For sure.
Don't give a fuck. And it's all about power and feeding that ego.
Yep.
And just feeling important. I think that's a big driver for a lot of this is just the need to be right.
Yep.
The need to control. The need to fill that ego.
JFK assassination.
I was just going to bring that up, right?
Bro,
Lee Harvey Oswald, that guy was a fucking nobody.
Yeah.
They completely framed that dude.
Oliver Stone.
And then killed him.
Yeah, Oliver Stone was just on Rogan. I listened. That was a good one. They talked about the JFK conspiracy.
I want to listen to it. I started watching the documentary, but I haven't listened to the episode.
Oliver Stone's like a far left, like kind of like whacked out liberal, but he's all about like, I mean, bro, FBI, CIA.
Dude, listen, J. Edgar Hoover is a fucking creep and a criminal. And that motherfucker it really pisses me off when I think about the people who have been in power and who have really shaped and molded the country and where we are. And it was seriously just a bunch of ego-driven, narcissistic assholes who just wanted control.
Yep.
And they lied and they ruined people's lives and they ruined the fucking country. And they get in bed with these corporations. It's like, I really feel we're the United States of corporations, where it's just whoever has the most money wins. So we're talking about that show Billions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a funny show because it's about this billionaire who's just making all this money trading constantly, trading. And his whole singular focus is, I'm going to make all this money. And, of course, he's manipulating stocks and shit so he can make money. And then there's this one guy, this prosecuting attorney or some shit, just has a fucking hard-on for this guy. He's chasing him. So it's like this whole narrative of we have the government, this good hero, just has like the law is right, and I'm gonna catch this bad guy, and he's going after this big bad guy billionaire, right? Who's just making all this fucking money, and it's like this whole wet dream of just the average person of saying, yeah, fuck that big rich guy, he needs to go to jail because for sure he's probably cheating and doing all this thing, but in reality, that billionaire rich guy isn't really just trading all the fucking time and worrying about making as much money as he can. Of course, he wants to make money. But when you get to that billionaire status, like, let's just be real. Like, that guy is also now playing government.
For sure.
You're not really trying to catch that guy. You're actually working for that guy because he's already giving so much money to lobbyists and his own interest that now you work for that guy and you work with that guy. And that billionaire, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, these guys work with the government. Why is Mark Zuckerberg in the rooms with all of these world governments? He's a businessman.
Bro, why are these government people, they make $200,000 a year. Their net worths are in the hundreds of millions.
Dude,
Nancy Pelosi's track record crushes Warren Buffett's stock portfolio.
It's insane.
In the last like over a course of 30 years.
I wonder how much money
Her
Corey
husband
Bush
is-
is making now.
Her husband is worth like $100 million.
I wonder how much money Corey Bush is making right now.
I really don't have anything nice to say about
She
that.
went from being homeless and just not probably good with her finances.
She's
And
got
just a very average person.
Book deal. She's not a good. She's not a good person.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
Right now.
She's
crushing it.
She's making some money.
Crushing it, bro.
Yep.
But what St. Louis doesn't look a whole lot nicer.
No, far worse, dude. Nobody goes downtown.
No, and here's the thing: they're really trying to bring it up, dude. They got
I
the
know.
soccer stadium going
I
in
know,
there. They're
that'll
really
help.
that whole Union Station area is fucking sick.
Have you been there?
Yes,
It's cool,
dude. Right?
It's really cool.
super simple. There's a guy coming in town. Speaking of Matt Vincent and Hate Brand, Matt put him on me because he does jiu-jitsu. So he's like asking me questions about jiu-jitsu and shit, and he's like, "Yeah, man, we're going to be in town for a couple days. What are some fun things to do in St. Louis?" So I give him a few options, and one of them was like, "Yeah, dude, go down to Union Station, dude. They got the aquarium and all this shit, and it's a really cool space. But you fuck around and walk outside and get robbed."
Yep. don't be out after dark.
Yeah, dude. St. Louis is a pretty cool town.
It is,
but
man.
it's not getting as good as it could be.
And it's leadership.
All at every level.
For sure.
At every level. Like, again, just ego driving these people and just shitty ass policies that they're putting in place. And
it's frustrating.
Dude, you look at some of these bills, they're just so massive. Nobody knows what's in there. It's this game. Why does it have to be so complicated?
I know.
It doesn't do any good for anybody.
It's frustrating.
It is.
Very frustrating.
I know, bro. Talking about masks and all this shit. I could probably just rant about the government for a long time because I just don't feel like they're doing what they should be doing. I think a very simple example of
they're
this.
in it for themselves.
Yes.
This has nothing to do with the people. What is the job of a government official? Serve the people. You serve us. Mm-hmm. They don't do that, bro. They're making so much money.
They're their own class of people now.
For sure. It sucks. But maybe we're in the middle of the Great Awakening.
Maybe, dude. Hopefully we can put some term limitations in place. Like, there's no reason for people to sit in office for so long.
I think 8 years is good.
I think it's
max.
Good. I mean, how many of these Supreme Court justices or these high-ranking officials?
How's anything ever going to change?
Well, yeah. How do they align with what's happening right now or with our values?
Right.
They don't. They represent old values, and they represent the values of who can pay the most.
Yep. What kind of deals we can get done.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think about, like in the justice system, for example, say there's no limit. You're just there till you die. Mm-hmm. So there's probably been a very small turnover in that position alone in the government, right? Mm-hmm. So let's just say somebody was put into place. Let's just, from the very beginning, someone who's put into place was probably extremely racist, or just had very probably narrow views about like what is right and what is wrong.
For sure.
All their policies are going to reflect that. And we're going to build a nation off that. And then we're going to put somebody else in place who's probably going to think the way they do.
For sure.
About people. So it's just
a never-ending cycle.
It just perpetuates, and it's self-preserving, right? So then whenever you start pointing out broken things in the system, which aren't really, like, they were designed that way, it's like, how do we not see the connection between the way people are thinking and how long they're in position and what that is going to affect moving forward? Mm-hmm. Like, we just act like it doesn't exist.
Right.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It blows me away.
Yep. Everybody should just work out and do jiu-jitsu.
That's it.
And drink raw milk.
Drink raw milk. Eat raw food.
That's right.
Fucking
we'll be good.
Talk to your neighbor.
Yeah. Man, I love jiu-jitsu.
I love it too.
I fucking love it, man.
Dude.
God, I've really bit hard on it.
The community piece is what gets me the most.
Yep.
Right? Because we're talking about all this doom and despair and everybody's separated and shit, but the phone and social media is what divides us. But dude, when you go into jiu-jitsu, you got doctors and businessmen and lawyers and plumbers and carpenters and stoners and cops.
Yeah, dude, it's such an interesting community.
Everyone's there,
and it's just cool because, like, I've been to jiu-jitsu out in Salt Lake City. I did it in Florida, and all the people are very similar. It's just so welcoming.
Yeah.
And it's just what a cool like skill to possess. And I don't have skills yet per se. I mean, like, if somebody comes in that's untrained, like I'm gonna have my way with them. But like watching someone like you or watching like Surge and like watching these things, it's like, wow, that's a superpower. Like you can very confidently walk around and knowing that if you were in a confrontation, you can handle anybody.
It still scares me though.
Yeah,
To get in confrontations like that,
for sure.
that fear of the unknown. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to get in this situation.
Yeah, but you've had your arm around my neck, like you'll be good. Like, I felt that squeeze.
I feel pretty confident choking people.
For
Ideally, I
sure.
don't ever want to get that close. Whenever I think about jujitsu, it's always in the context of if somebody has a knife,
For sure.
I don't want to get stabbed.
Yep.
How can I prevent that?
Yeah, it's like the whole thing too. Like since I started, I've probably been doing it like 8 months, maybe 8 months, 10 months. Like it's totally taught me, like watching some of these guys walk in through the gym door and like they're dorks sometimes, and they don't. I'm a lot stronger. I'm bigger. I think I'm tougher.
Yeah.
And you just watch them, and they just kind of like mosey on in, and then they throw their purple or their brown belt on, and then they choke you out in 5 seconds. And it's like, oh shit! Like so, it's taught me like, yo, avoid confrontation at all costs because you don't know who knows what.
You just don't know, man.
Right.
I've learned there's just so many more people who can kick my ass than can't. Maybe not more, but there's a lot of people who can still kick my ass.
Yeah.
A lot.
I
Especially if
think
they're
that,
big.
see, that for me sounds crazy just because like I think, I look at you, you're kind of the Mecca. You know what I mean? And I know you don't think that, but like, you got a fucking black belt. I mean, like that's cool. Like
Yeah.
I respect that so much. I think that's so cool. And I respect it, one, because I know you can kick my ass, which is cool. Like I respect that. You have this knowledge that like I'm really looking, like I want to soak up everything I can about what you know. And I appreciate and respect it because I see a black belt, I see a brown belt, or even a purple belt, and I'm like, yo, that dude has spent a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to where he is right now.
Yeah.
Like he has taken, whatever, like you see that color, and you're like, that person has spent a lot of time, probably gotten his ass kicked a bunch of times on the mat,
Yeah.
and kept coming back, and now and I know what it takes. Like, because I've been doing it for 8 months. I know because I know the process of like, I mean, obviously I haven't done it yet, but I know the process because I've done it with weight loss and with strength,
Right.
and with business. Like I know the process of what it takes to get to like a black belt level. Like
Right.
not like actually know the
Well,
process.
the process is the same for everything, right?
For sure,
Like
for
this,
sure.
the nuts and bolts of it.
So I see that black belt and I'm like, fuck, man, that dude put time and effort in. He's got a knowledge level that is, way up high.
Yeah.
And I respect that, and I think that's so cool. I'm really drawn to it. And for whatever reason right now, it's jiu-jitsu players. Like, I just think that's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I'm very I'm captivated by the whole sport, the whole art, everything about it.
Right. Yeah, and I guess it's all relative, right? Comparison is always the thief of joy. I think it's good to have a perspective that there's always somebody better out there. Dude, and here's the thing, man. I've been doing this for 12 years, and, man, it's like, yeah, I'm okay, but, man, I'll go with guys like Nick Sanders, for example, here. He's a fucking really good black belt. Or I'll go with, like, Andrew Wiltsey up at Pedigo, and he's one of the best in the fucking world. Or, like, Jacob Couch, who's not even a black belt yet. But in Nogi, one of the best in the world. He will one day go down as one of the greatest practitioners of all time. I knew that from the moment I fucking talked to this kid. This is in-depth now. So I'll talk to these guys. There's always levels to this shit, right?
For sure.
It's like, man, so yeah, I'm decent, but man, there are a lot of people who are way better.
For sure. Well, imagine my perspective.
Yeah,
Like, I
dude.
talked to a blue belt and I get geeked out. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God, it's a blue belt. That's sick.
It's so crazy. Yeah, it's all relative.
Yeah, but like, and I just think like competing or going to classes and rolling, like putting yourself out there to get humiliated. Like I get humiliated a lot.
Yeah,
like
I get beat a lot.
There's dudes that are a lot smaller than I am, and I mean it's humiliating. You get your ass kicked. Which I think is it's cool, and you keep going out there and you keep going out there, and then man, you get a couple taps and you feel that and you're like, oh wow, that's fucking cool. I just submitted a human being.
Dude, it feels good.
That's a powerful feeling.
Have you tapped the blue belt yet?
No.
When you do.
There's a couple guys that I roll with. They're actually, one of them getting his blue belt today.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I can somewhat hold my own with them. You know what I mean? Like I can, like in the next couple, I can catch them for sure. Like there's a place I could catch them.
Yeah.
So
it's such a good feeling.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, yeah, tap it. Yeah, because I just know that, and then there's two other guys that are very, very close to their blue belts that I've never tapped them, but I'm like right, I'm getting close.
Yeah.
And I feel like, man, it's I'm putting the time in. I'm getting better every week.
You feel
So,
a lot better when we
yeah,
roll.
yeah. And I'm gonna start coming in. Tuesday, maybe not Tuesdays, but Thursdays at Dave's.
Whenever you want.
Learning from Mr. Adam Meredith himself.
It's a little bit different.
For sure.
Than like Serge's class.
For sure. No, like Serge definitely tries to. It's like sometimes he does some cool shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like that lockdown. Like that's changed my
lockdown's a great position.
half guard game.
Great position.
But like when I came on Thursday, what was that 2 weeks ago with you,
Mm-hmm.
And just like the simple movement of Kimura and triangle,
Mm-hmm.
or like triangle in particular, it's like you said one little thing, and I've been doing jiu-jitsu for 8 to 10 months. A triangle is probably one of the most basic first things you can learn.
Yeah.
And you just made one comment about like, yo, get your put your hips up, get your hips up.
Yeah.
And that's already like changed. I've like caught a couple people in triangles in
Oh,
the last
really?
week and a half just from that, like,
Oh,
I
cool.
get my hips up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just those
little
basic
things, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely take the perspective of like whenever I know I'm starting from like I can start from the beginning with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely go all the way back to like the basics and
For sure.
just kind of like that traditional gi, jiu-jitsu.
Hammering the basics, like that day you were coaching us and we just did triangles in Kimura. That makes a huge difference.
That's it, dude.
Because like, dude, honestly, like when I'm rolling, even if I'm going against somebody who's newer and I'm looking, because usually I'm like if I'm going against a blue belt or purple, I'm just playing defense. Like submission is rarely in the back of my mind. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, don't get tapped. See if maybe we can pass. Like just play defense.
Yeah.
But like if I'm going against like somebody newer, it's like I've got like maybe 3 submissions in my repertoire. Like I'm not getting creative. Like there's no crazy shit. Like
all you
it's
need.
like Kimura, maybe key lock, Americano, maybe. But it's learning like hammering those basics, like hammering triangle, like doing the reps, makes such a difference.
Yeah, it really does, dude. And I found a lot of it is really just I don't do a lot of shit either, to be honest with you. I do like a lot of the same things. I know it tends to work, but most of it is just positioning. It really is. It's just can you maintain space and just be in just a little bit of a better position.
Yep.
And just make the other guys super uncomfortable. That's usually my goal. I'm just trying to make you really uncomfortable.
Yep.
I'll just hold positions.
Yeah.
And just make you carry my weight.
Yeah, I imagine you have like a couple things you might think about, like principles, but I imagine like when you roll, especially if it's like, it might be different if you're rolling against like a high level black belt, but if you're rolling against somebody like me, you're not even thinking probably. You're just in the you're just it's not even it's like a hockey player skating. They're not like thinking about skating. They're just like a normal human being thinks about walking down the street. You're not like thinking It's just you're just doing it.
Yeah. Well, eventually you just learn these truths. Like this is a truth and I know this thing.
Yep.
And then I just do that. I'm just like, all right, well, I know. For example, I used to always, Serge actually commented on this, like in a lot of traditional jiu-jitsu, guys will start in closed guard, and they'll just start there.
Yep.
And I used to do that a lot too. I would start in closed guard. But I found that kind of created some bad habits to where if I was competing or something, I would just let people put me in this position. And it's like, now I'm kind of giving you what you want.
For sure.
Now I don't let anybody fucking put me in closed guard.
Right.
Like I just know
like you don't want to, you're not.
I don't want to be there. I don't want to have that fight. I'm going to try to pass your guard anyway. So it's like, all right, I know if I put you flat and I know if like I tap your knee and I put my hand here, I'm probably going to fucking pass you. And it's universal. I just have these truths. And it's like if I'm on bottom and I know that there's actually a couple battles that we're fighting, I'm going to focus on those battles, and maybe you don't know that you're fighting a battle.
For sure.
So it's like, all right, first battle is let me get some sort of connection and control with my grip. Maybe I'm grabbing your sleeve. Maybe I'm grabbing your collar. If you let me grab your sleeve, you just lost the first battle and you didn't know it.
Yep.
So there's a battle we're playing. And now I'm probably going to put my foot on your hip because now that's another connection. And then that's giving me angles and that's creating more control. You just lost another battle because now you have my foot on your hip. You didn't know you just lost that battle. So you're losing steps along the way that you aren't aware of. But once you become aware of them, now it's like, all right, now I know this truth and I'm just going to do this thing.
Yep.
And that's just how I get wins that people don't know about.
Yeah, I love hearing that shit, man. Like that's cool shit. You know what I mean? Like that. like I said, man, I've got the jiu-jitsu bug big time.
Yeah.
And like watching you roll and watching higher level guys roll, it's like that's fucking cool. Like that is a skill that I want to possess, and I'm on that trajectory. Like I know myself, and I know when I get into something, and I've kind of like broken past like the 1 maybe 2 month barrier of like, oh, maybe that, I like this, maybe it'll pan out. Like I'm pretty deep in it now.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like
You've caught the bug,
in
man.
the very beginning.
Yeah.
I'm deep into the very, very beginning stages.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see this not being a part of my life.
Yeah.
I just love it. And I want to compete. I love competing. I love like the nervous butterflies of getting out there. I've only done, 2 like in-house tournaments.
Still.
Super small, like, I've done like 6 matches. And the nerves and the excitement of that is like, whoa.
Yes.
That, like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's a great feeling.
For sure. And I know I'm gonna end up doing some bigger, type
Yeah, do like
competition
a
or
Fuji
tournament.
or something.
Yeah,
AGF.
like I've got that on the mind. Probably in the spring.
It's worth it.
Is what I'm thinking.
It's never as scary as people think.
For sure.
Because you're going against people similar
size, skill.
age, skill, all of that.
Skill.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like, man, yeah, because you're 35, right? So
35.
you're
Masters, right?
Masters 2 technically.
Yeah.
So you can go against other old guys in the Master 2
Yeah.
division.
Bro, I could take I roll with all the young bucks. These guys are in their 20s. It's hard.
Shit, it's just all you young, but we're only a year apart, bro.
That's true.
I know, dude.
That's true.
Those guys, those young guys, old guys and young guys are both very dangerous.
For sure.
Because they both go really hard just for different reasons.
Yep.
I think I've told you this before, have I?
Yeah. Well, the worst person to roll with is the blue belt, just because they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And they see my white belt. And they're like, all right, I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. I'm
yeah.
smashing, because they're probably they go with purple and brown and black, and they probably get their ass kicked.
Yeah.
They know enough, they're good enough to really fucking bring it on me. And a lot of times they're just tough.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. That's how I like stereotype the blue
Yeah,
belt.
because they're feeding their egos.
Yeah.
I try to avoid white belts because I don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, I feel like a white, like for you though, where you're at, I feel like I mean, I guess you could just because they have no idea. Like I have like no idea what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing.
But
it's
at
dangerous.
the same time, like I feel like a blue belt might even be. I think just because, well, I guess they probably know enough not to hurt you.
Just depends on the person.
Yeah.
But usually by the time you've trained blue belt enough, you've trained enough and you've probably been beaten enough by higher belts that they're kind of in your head a little bit.
For
to
sure.
where you're like, oh, fuck, all right.
Yeah.
Man, this is going to be a tough roll. Maybe they go hard, maybe they don't, but you've kind of mentally already checkmated them a little bit. But with a white belt, like, it's not an acceptance of the check. It's like, oh, man, I know I'm about to get my ass beat, or this is about to be a really hard roll, so I'm gonna go really fucking hard because of that.
See, yeah, that's definitely the thought process. I think with most, like my thought process is a little different. Like if I go against you, if I go against a black belt or a brown belt, I'm like I know I have no chance. Like I just I know, and somebody might say like, oh, like you shouldn't have that attitude. It's like no, like I'm not getting a black. Like that's just not gonna even happen. So like I'm going to a thought process. I'm gonna remain super calm. I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to try to, because I don't want to piss this guy off. And have him like,
what is he
like,
gonna do?
you're going to go you're going to go hard with me? Okay, we can go hard.
Yeah, we can do that.
So I'm going to go super calm. I'm probably like subconsciously going to find myself on bottom with him on side control. And then I want to just play defense. And I'm going to try to, let's see if I can hold this guy off from tapping me as long as possible. That's kind of like my thought process when I'm going with like a black belt.
Yeah, dude, honestly, that's been a marker of mine for ever, whether or not I'm getting tapped. There's like you'll have like a main training partner or somebody that you train with a lot, or somebody who's a little bit better than you, and you'll use them as your marker. And dude, for me, one of my markers was his name's Carlitos Jones. He's a black belt now. We were white belts together. We got our blue belts at the same time. Just kind of on the same trajectory a lot of times. He's significantly stronger than me. He's significantly stronger than fucking most people. Just an amazing athlete from Barbados, was an Olympic alternate for cycling for his country. Like just a crazy workhorse, super, super strong. And a lot of my rolls, he would just kick my ass. He was just, he has good enough jiu-jitsu that when you pair it with his strength, it's really hard to deal with. If someone's strong and they have shitty jiu-jitsu, I can get past that strength.
For sure.
But if you have pretty good jiu-jitsu and you're strong,
that's a lot to deal
it's
with.
tough. It's a lot to deal with.
with.
So I'm not as strong as him. My technique has to be better. My angles have to be better. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I would use him as my marker for a very long time. And it was like, all right, well, all right, now I'm not getting tapped. Oh shit, now I'm starting to win some exchanges.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
shit, I just
passing
got
his
some exchanges.
guard.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got the guard. If we scored that, I just probably won 2-0, like
Mm-hmm.
type shit.
Yep.
And then
That's how you're kind of measuring like progress or like
I'll measure my progress by how am I doing with like a particular person.
right.
You know what I'm
Like, oh,
saying?
that dude was tapping me a lot, and now he's not tapping me nearly as much. Oh,
Now I'm not getting tapped
I'm
at
finding
all.
myself in control.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
this progression. It's like, oh man, I was on defense all the time. Well, man, I just rolled today. I didn't get tapped.
for sure.
Okay, cool. Well, maybe I'm gonna start winning some of these.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I just passed the guard. You start becoming more aggressive as opposed to there's this time to where you're like, well, what are they doing? Let me see what they're doing. I'm gonna go with it, and then you start accepting things, but then you start accepting losing all the time,
For sure.
and it's like this balance.
Like I definitely accept losing. Like
Yeah, you accept it.
Yeah, like like if I roll against blue, purple, brown, or black, like I'm not gonna win.
But you might.
Yeah, I know. I know I can catch a blue. I'm gonna catch a blue here soon.
Yeah, you're gonna do it all the time.
For sure. But like yeah, like rolling against you or like if I roll against a black belt, it's like let's just play defense. Let's see how long we can last. And I'm also like kind of like torn, and then also too, it's sort of hard, like just because there's such a discrepancy in skill and knowledge. Like if I'm rolling with you or another black belt, I'm like, okay, he's not really trying, or it's like it's funny because it's like okay, he's putting himself in this position because he wants to work on something, and then or it's like. Okay, he's giving me this. It's like, okay, why does he want?
Start questioning
doing?
shit.
Yeah, or it's like, shit, why is he fucking pulling my gi out? What is he doing over here? Like
Start
that's
wrapping you up with
yeah,
your own gi.
that's not good. And the next thing you know, you're getting choked out with your own gi.
Yeah.
Pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, and that can lead to a slippery slope where you just start accepting too much shit.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then that's what I need to do a better job of for sure is not accepting losing, even if it's a black belt. Like, hey, I'm gonna try. I don't have to go real hard,
Yeah.
or anything like that. But it's like, yo, let's try to do something.
Right.
It's like it doesn't matter if it's a black belt. Like, go into the mindset that hey, that's just another dude, and I'm gonna try to beat him in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Whether it's gonna happen or not, probably not gonna happen against a black belt. Obviously, for at least another 7 years. But like, I submit for sure. Like, just to the like, if I see a purple, brown, or black, like I know I'm not winning. And,
Yeah.
and I think it changes like my game versus like if it's some dude who's only been doing it 6 months and I know like I've tapped him a bunch of times, like I know the guy. It's like
Yeah.
it's a different mentality. Like I'm a different jiu-jitsu player.
For sure.
Like it's hard to explain. I don't
Yeah,
know.
dude, you go on the offense, you have more confidence.
For
like,
sure.
You see more things.
Like I'm never going on the offense against a colored belt.
Yeah, that's weird. It's a
Yeah,
weird thing
for sure.
to like kind of mentally accept that, oh fuck, this dude is probably gonna win. And like, oh, and then you start questioning, what are they doing? Like you said, what are they doing? Why are they letting me do this?
Yeah.
What's going on
It's
here?
like I should be going over there, but he's letting me go over there.
Yeah.
Or letting me do this. Or
Yeah.
letting me have that.
Sometimes, dude, you'll take away your own wins when you do that because there have been times to where I'll roll with somebody, and maybe I'm just being a little lazy. You know, like it's like, oh, dude, no, you passed my guard, and they're
Yeah.
like, no, why are you letting me pass your guard? Like, bro, just chill, keep going. Why are you worried about this?
For sure.
Just
sure.
like, you passed it. Trust
Yeah,
me.
that's me.
It's
Definitely me
It's
doing
not a
that
big
shit.
deal.
For sure.
You're like,
For
what?
sure.
I can't pass a black belt's guard. You can.
Right.
You totally can, and it happens. But when you do it, you're just like, this isn't real. What are they baiting me for right now?
sure.
And then you just give up some stupid shit because you're just in your own head.
Yo, do you think about that? Like black belt? Like holy shit! Like I'm a fucking black belt. Like what's that? Like
Yes and no. It feels
Yeah.
weird. I've in my mind, I've been a black belt for a while. I should have got it. In my mind, it was a little late.
for sure.
But maybe that's not for me to say. It definitely feels weird because like people are like, oh, you're a black belt. You're a black belt. I was like, ah, man.
I know.
I guess.
Yep.
I don't feel like it. Like I know a lot of shit. I guess. Like whenever I start explaining things, I'm like, man, I do have all this information.
That's what I think is cool. I think what that belt represents, just from in my experience and what I think is like a knowledge and then a experience, time spent on the mat. Like that dude earned that, and he has something in here that's like real high level.
Yeah.
Like, he knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why like I just have so much respect for that, because like that's something that I'm trying to like obtain, not necessarily obtain a black belt, but like I'm trying to like learn and get better at this thing.
Why not? You don't want to get a black belt, bro?
Yeah. Oh, bro. Like, of course I want to get it. It's just like where I'm at right now. Like,
Yeah, you're
like,
at the very beginning. You're like year
I'm
one.
thinking like, oh, dude, how cool would it be to get a blue belt? You know what I mean? Like, I like, and I think about that at night. Like, I lay in bed and I'm like, yo, because I remember when I first started, I was like, fuck, I'm probably never getting a blue belt. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just
you
gonna
will.
kind of learn. I was like, I'm just gonna learn this just like to get a little self defense, whatever. And then it's like, oh no, now I'm going 5 times a week, and like I want to compete, and I'm actually, oh shit, like I'm. There's been a few times I can think of, like, count on one hand how many, where like I've done like 30 seconds of a roll with someone who's like my skill level, maybe a little bit better, and I was like, holy shit, like I don't even remember what just happened. I was just doing stuff and doing right things.
Yeah.
And it was just like a flow. It was like, wow, that was fucking cool.
Yes.
That was so cool. Oh man,
It's
I
so
love
intoxicating.
it. For sure.
That's what I imagine is going to be like with hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really want to build that skill. I want to know how to field dress these animals.
Right, you gotta do something. You Adam Meredith got to do like you got to be a rookie at something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm very much a rookie at that.
For sure.
For sure. Yeah, man. And I also feel like very much a rookie in business.
For sure.
And yeah,
we
man.
are. We are for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels nice to kind of have that mental load off now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, man, I've been grinding so hard
To get that.
to get the black belt. I don't like this whole idea. You shouldn't be worried about the next belt. Like, if that's your fucking goal, like I started jiu-jitsu with the intention to get my fucking black belt.
For sure.
And I'm the type of person to where, again, A plus B equals C. So if I'm doing the things, then the outcome usually follows.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I just learned that from like football. They're always talking about don't celebrate too much when you win, because if you're doing the right things, you should expect to win. That's kind of fucked me up. That's neither here nor there, because sometimes I don't appreciate the wins.
I understand where you're coming from. Yeah.
But it's like, where the fuck was I going with that? We're talking about appreciating wins, doing new things, belts. Oh yeah,
Yep.
So yeah, I was expecting to get my belt because I was doing these things, but like now that I got it, like it feels good, I feel accomplished, but now it's like, all right, now I can take that off my mental plate and I can just focus on these other things. Like jiu-jitsu is always going to be a part of my thing. Like it's always like it's embedded in my life so deeply.
100%.
But it's not I'm not so focused on like, all right, I have to get these tournaments in, I have to get these practices, and I have to do this because I need to get this goal. Because once you get black belt, it really is the beginning if this is your life, because I really want to get that black and red belt.
For sure.
I got like 32 fucking years to get that thing. So now it's literally just about time. It's like every 3 years you get a stripe for the first 3, and then the next 3 is like every 5 years.
Yep.
So what's that, like 24 years or some shit like that for 6 stripes? So but it's like, man, I don't have to worry about doing these things. Now I can focus on the podcast. I can focus on trying to build imposed will. I can try to get some hunting, and I can become a beginner at these other things.
And I think we talked about this a couple Fridays ago after jiu-jitsu, of being like the importance of being like a beginner.
Yeah.
And like and for me right now, it's obviously jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't know anything, and I'm very low on the totem pole, and I love that. I like being the beginner and sucking, but having like in my mind, like knowing kind of the path I need to go to get up here, and like being down here and being like, I know I can get there.
Yes.
I know I can get there, and I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
Even though I'm just in the beginning, it's important to be a rookie.
Yeah.
I think, and to suck at something, and to kind of get that passion to get better at it. Like in your case, maybe hunting or whatever it might be. It's like it's powerful. Yeah.
Are you trying to take yourself out of the business as your girl? Because you have 3 locations.
Yep.
Are you bouncing around between locations? Are you at like 2 of the locations?
I'm at 2 of them. So I spend the mornings in Brentwood, and then I'm at Fenton in the like afternoons, evenings.
Okay.
For sure.
So you're split quite a bit, and you're doing a lot of the work, but you have these locations.
Yeah.
And you have other things you want to do.
Yeah.
You trying to remove yourself from the business as far as like doing the actual work where you're working on the business and not in the business?
For sure. Like meaning take myself a little bit away from training?
Yeah, from like the actual like nuts and bolts of like what your gym is, which is the training piece.
Yes. I am, for sure.
But that's got to be like a tough transition, right?
It's a hard transition, and we've had meetings too about like, God, we're missing one piece. At output as a whole, we are missing like a CEO, somebody that is, because like I'm very hands on. Like I don't see our business from, like a bird's eye view. Like
Yeah.
I'm in the fucking trenches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interacting with client, all that stuff. But I think we're missing somebody who and I think this role will come from the outside. I don't know who it's going to be. And I just know what we could pay them is probably not going to be what somebody who would the job I would want done would not be worth it. So it's hard to,
They gotta put in that sweat equity, right?
For sure. But like I need somebody who is not on the gym floor, who is not coaching, who's not training, because that's very. You coach, you train. Like it's exhausting,
dude. It's exhausting writing all these programs, following up with people.
It's mentally, it's draining. Training somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So I need
giving energy.
Yeah, somebody that's not doing that. That wakes up and is just doing the business stuff.
I thought Paul was that guy.
He is. And he's very good at it.
Yeah.
But he's also got another job.
He's got a lot going on, too.
He's got a lot going on. He is a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He's a monster.
Dude, he's a fucking beast.
Dude,
he's such
so
a cool
smart.
dude.
Dude, I tell a lot of people this. I'm like, and I tell in particular my wife, I'm like, I need to just gravitate toward, like, Paul is going to be.
I could just tell immediately.
A monster.
Yeah, dude.
And he already is. I
mean,
dude, he's young. I mean, he's like 32.
Dude, I talk to people like Paul, and we were talking about like Jason with Strange Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I really like Jason. And I'm like, man, like, dude, like, we're friends. Like, you're a cool dude. But then I'll talk to that guy. I'm like, man, I just feel so inadequate talking to you.
I'm not on your level.
I'm not, the economic piece. Yeah. Like, as a human, I feel like, we're peers as humans.
For sure.
But you are so much more successful, and you have this whole business thing at a place to where I'm really trying to get to. I just feel so inadequate.
He probably looks at you, though, and says something similarly like, God, he's got this, and I wish I had that.
Sometimes like, I just like, they're like, oh, you're a nice guy. Let me just throw you a bone. Like, I feel people just feel sorry for me.
No, not at all. Dude, I gravitate towards you. I think you're fucking cool, man.
I appreciate it,
for
man.
real. And I think, like, what you're doing, like, with Imposed Will, the podcast, all this stuff, I think what you got going on, it's like, really cool. And you're definitely like one of those people that, like, the second I'm chatting with you, or if you like comment on an Instagram story or send me a DM, I kind of perk up. I'm like, oh, cool. Adam, like you give me energy for sure.
I hope to have that effect on people.
For sure.
I really do. You have that same effect on people, dude. Like you're very like you have a great energy about you. It's really very contagious.
That. Thank you.
And but yeah, it's just like Paul or like those guys are clearly just operating at a different level with business, which is something I just aspire to be.
For sure.
I'm just like, man, like you guys are on some other level shit.
Yep.
Like he's a smart dude.
Like if I hear him talk, or like we'll be in a meeting, or and we've had a lot of different things happen over the last 4 years with Output, with chances to buy this or do things. And whenever we're like in contract negotiations, lease negotiations, or just talking to another business owner about maybe buying their place or whatever. And Paul's a lot of times the lead with that part of it, and I'm like sitting back there and I'm like, holy shit. Or like he'll send an email and I'll read this email, I'll be like, what the I'll text CJ, we'll be copying. I'm like, what the fuck was that, bro? Did you read that thing? Like, this dude is unreal.
He's so amazing, dude.
Oh,
yeah, he gives you so much confidence. I understand why you guys want to have him on the team. Like, why would you not? I love those guys. Those minds are so important.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very different than he is. I'm very like I'm just I'm good with like people, like the operations and like contracts and this and that and all that stuff is not my strong suit. My strong suit is like kind of what we're doing right now. Just I'm talking to people.
Same.
Like that's what I do. That's what I like to do.
Same. I just like to connect with people.
For sure. No, but what you got going on, man, is I like your energy is up here, and I feel it every time I'm around you, for sure. And the whole like jiu-jitsu thing, like. I just respect that. Like, I know the work you put in and the effort, and I think that's that's legit, man.
I'm just going to keep grinding, bro.
For sure.
We're heading in the right direction.
Damn right.
Dude, you know how long we've been talking?
What we do here?
2 hours.
Damn, bro.
Yeah.
I was wondering because I've heard a couple of the beefs. I'm like, I wonder if that's like every 30 minutes or I wonder.
Oh, my watch. Yeah, every hour.
Every hour.
Every hour on the hour.
I'm like, damn. Because like I'm just looking back at this whole conversation. I'm like, God damn, we touched on a lot of stuff. We definitely touched on some controversial stuff. I'm kind of curious when this comes out. Like, and I'll defend everything I said. For
Dude,
sure. 100%.
Dude, I'd say the dumbest, like the Nate podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, Nate is so fucking smart.
Yeah, dude, Nate is
So smart, and I was not ready to have that intelligent of a conversation. I felt so dumb.
Nate will come at you. You bet. He'll come at you. And I love Nate. I've known Nate for a number of years. Nate and I disagree on a lot of things, I guess politically, maybe you would say. But man, every time like that guy makes like I'm like, bro, you could be like a great lawyer.
Yeah.
Like because he makes me think. And I listened to your guys' podcast, and I thought it was really good because I really went into it with a super open mind. Because I love Nate as a dude, and and everything. But obviously we have our disagreements. But I was like really trying to like get his perspective. You know what I mean? And I appreciated everything he had to say in that podcast because like I said, he's a great dude, and it's kind of interesting because I disagree with a lot of what he says, but I like the guy.
And I see the point too. I can see the perspective, and I really thought about that conversation for a long time afterwards, and it just really challenged me and made me think.
I was literally
and
going to use
that's
that
what
word.
I really liked.
He'll come at you and he'll challenge you. You know what I mean? And he'll make you. If you have a belief or a thought, he might challenge it, and it makes you think.
Yeah, which is important.
Which is great. Yeah, heck yeah.
Dude, sometimes I'll say things that I know to be true, but then I'll immediately question myself.
The second you say it.
And then I won't say it confidently, and then it's like, nah, I look like an asshole. I'm just like, fuck, dude. Because sometimes, like, we're researching things, right? And sometimes I'll research something, and I'll do my due diligence, and then I'll get the information, or I'll form an opinion, and now I know it. And I understand it, or I've made my opinion, but it doesn't necessarily mean I can go back and like verbatim recite like this was my source and this was the information.
Right.
And it kind of makes you look unprepared, but it's like, no, man,
it's there, man. It's
there. I just can't. I don't have such a deep understanding to where I can articulate this to you. Like, but I did the fucking research, and there's a reason why I have this opinion.
That's like me. I was talking earlier about the liver and onions. Like, just eat liver and onions.
Just trust me. Can you just trust me? Where's the trust go? Like, I'm living this. I'm not just saying it. I'm leading by example. Trust me, people.
Drink raw milk. Eat a little bit of good quality, organ meat raw.
Yeah, eat some real food, man.
And you'll be good. Don't ask me the science behind it. Just do it.
That's a beautiful way to end it.
Cool, bad.
Stu, my man, this was so awesome, dude. Is there anything you want to direct people towards? They can check you out or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, so at Output Performance is the Instagram handle. My personal one's at SBeath, SBEATH. And that's all, man. This is great. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm excited to see where you're gonna go.
Always a pleasure, dude. Next time you come back, I'm gonna have like a legitimate studio. It's gonna be fucking sick.
Exactly.
I promise.
I love it,
dude. Stu, thanks, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right, everybody. Till next time.